What's up, everybody? Welcome to Jupiter Brain. My name is Josh. This is
Albert.
and we here at Jupiter Brain are on a quest to understand the world around us. So we are engineers by day, philosophers by night, and so we like to start the podcast with talking about our week. There's many things that happen around campus during the week. Yeah. We only do this once a week, and so and really, me and Albert only get to. So far, we've only got to really meet up once a week.
Yeah, once or twice a week at most.
Which I'm excited for. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot that happens during the week. And so let's start off with talking about how our weeks went.
Well, my week went pretty fun. Last Saturday, me and a bunch of friends, we went out to karaoke, had quite a lot of fun that night. Yeah.
Have you done karaoke before?
Yeah. We got home at like 4 a.m.
Did you actually sing? Did you?
Yeah. Karaoke is not just for people who's good at singing.
I
just pointed out I'm not that good at singing, but it's pretty fun.
Why was I not invited, dude?
I didn't know you like karaoke. Next time.
I don't love karaoke, but I would have loved to be there.
Next time I'll hit you up. Yeah. How's your week been?
It was good. So much happened. Let's see here. The first thing that comes to mind is a quiz. I had my first quiz.
Ooh.
And didn't go so well.
Oh, I understand.
Digital signal processing with Dr. Benjabar. And I want to say I just wasn't prepared enough.
I got you.
The weekend before, I had my parents down at the lake, and it's just I don't get to see my parents a lot, and so whenever I do, I really just try to give them as much attention as I can. So I told myself at the beginning of the weekend, I was like, you're gonna have to sit down, you're gonna have to do some work because you've got things like a quiz coming up, and school kind of got pushed to the wayside. Now, I was still working on my research, making sure that the simulations are running and things like that. But as like actually sitting down and doing homework problems, it was not there.
I understand. The first 3 weeks is pretty hectic, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many things going on, trying to catch up with all the classes, get used to all the homework flows, the different teaching styles.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Especially this year, I feel like there's so much on our plates.
Yes. Yeah, and I always do bad on a first quiz.
Yeah, same.
I try to really use that first quiz as like a measure of how that professor
grades things
and is going to how hard the quizzes are going to be, right? Mm-hmm. And I've taken Dr. Benjabar before, so I should know, right? But at the same time, I think I just didn't get put in enough effort in studying, so there's that. And so let's see, what else? Quizzes. This is the third week, like we said, or the end of the third week.
Yes, end of the third week.
One thing that I've been excited about and trying to share with people is Matthew Goodman, the student who is he's an officer of Physics Society, and he also does material science research in our research group. But he came to me and was like, hey, have you heard of perplexity? I was like, oh, yeah, of course I've heard of perplexity.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep an eye out for all the different AIs that are coming out, right?
Yep.
And perplexity, whenever I first heard about it, I don't know, maybe like a year more ago, I went and checked it out because I heard that, well, you could, for one, use a bunch of different models, right? So it's not like, you use Perplexity, the model, right? You can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude. Not only that, but you can use the most up-to-date models, right? So you can, I think with Perplexity Pro, and I'm not exactly sure about like the availability of models depending on like free versus the subscription. But we were told that Matt was telling me that with Pro, you can use ChatGPT 5. And so what he was also telling me is that they are basically, I want to say, like advertising, like, hey, come sign up as a student and get a free month on us, right?
Oh,
So you don't even need a credit card or a bank account, and you don't have to put any account information
that's crazy.
into it. All you have to do is basically input your student email, and voila, you have a free month of
Free.
Perplexity Pro for free.
Yeah.
But the really cool thing is if we can get 500 students to sign up, so please sign up. There's a link on our Discord. I put a link on Ucore. There's flyers now all over HOH. Gonna try. I meant to bring them today and get them all over the library and things like that. But yeah, so if we get 500 students to sign up, and it's really easy to do, really, really easy to do, then we get a whole year of Perplexity Pro for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And also one of the great things about Perplexity Pro is that like it was one of the first like sort of AIs to give you like where the references are coming from. Like so the websites or the books
articles.
and everything that it's pulling up, the information that it's pulling from, it gives you all of that. And it was one of the first ones to do that.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I really enjoy listening to their CEO. I forget the guy's name. Let's see here. Let's look it up. CEO of Perplexity. But he is a very
Aravind?
knowledgeable person. Yes, Arvind Srinivas. Now he goes on podcasts. So I believe he was on, I know for sure he's on the Lex Friedman podcast. And that's what, I think maybe where I heard about Perplexity. And he's a wealth of knowledge, and he just seems like an interesting guy. And so, yeah, you got to check out Perplexity. You know, if you use AI as a student, which really I think we should all be using AI, especially since now businesses are coming out and saying, like I was talking to Trey, I forget his last name, but Trey, he's my partner in DSP Lab, right? Digital Signal Processing Lab. And he was telling me that he had a internship over the summer, and I guess I don't know. You have to send back a bunch of emails to people to communicate, right? And I guess he was reading a lot of these emails, and he goes up to them, the interns, and maybe people that are working there as well, and says, "Hey, why don't you guys use ChatGPT to sort of help make sure your paragraphs and the things you're saying are like, you know,
Good.
good? Yeah, yeah, yeah." And it makes sense, right?
Yeah, well formatted, good grammar, everything.
Yeah, so that's just one example, but there's a ton of examples of that I've heard of that sort of thing, of like businesses being very open to using AI and things like that. Some have their own AIs, right? One of the coolest AI implementations that I've heard recently was this immunologist. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I have to look up his name, but he is talking about how they use LLMs in their research. And oh, why is this not working? Of course, Spotify isn't logged in for me already. I hate that, man.
Happens.
It's like, why do things? Oh, that's not right. But anyways, so I can't think. So he was talking about how they use LLMs in their research, and so I believe they use ChatGPT, and they trained a model to basically be able to be a immunologist. And so they would give this LLM a ton of data and things like that. And the LLM will then give them like a bunch of different hypotheses and then experiments to run based off of those hypotheses. And I just thought that was like really cool. And he said, they've already come across like breakthroughs using this. And he said, so these LLMs can do the job of like, four graduate students and an advisor
That's crazy.
of like a whole year. Yeah, they do. Yeah, and so that's why I'm so passionate about like trying to get an LLM trained for material science, so that they can be sort of a experimenter or like basically researcher, like a researcher that you can go to that's an expert on all this stuff and that can help you formulate new hypotheses,
Yeah.
look at all the data that you've got, maybe try to help you out and try to find new ways to find new data and things like that. So, yeah.
But I also see an interesting paper similar to what you said.
Yeah.
In OpenAI, they use a special version of GPT-4o. They call it GPT-4b Micro. It is a specialized
Okay.
model made for protein engineering. And they've successfully used this model to create many different variants of the Yamanaka factors, which is different molecules that can cause cells to revert back to the stem cell state.
Oh, wow.
And they are able to use this to try, at least, to combat things like blindness, reverse diabetes, and even treat infertility. So to be able to create more
That's
stem
wild.
cells is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, LLMs get a bad rap, hallucinations and things like that. But at the same time, I still believe they're going to be useful in our, in our wanting to sort of understand the universe more.
Or even solve problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I was listening to a podcast this morning, the Machine Learning Street Talk podcast,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a great
Great podcast.
podcast, especially if you love machine learning.
Very big inspiration.
Yes. And he was talking about, this is what research is about. It's about incremental progress. And so, yeah, maybe we've sort of, we had like this big leap of technology with large language models, thanks to the Transformer and to Dr. Bishop and his gang, and trying to, I believe he's up in Toronto or something like that. And so, yeah, we had the big leap, and people are expecting like another big leap and things like that. But it's like, no, sometimes those big leaps happen, but then, you also got to keep chipping away and
Yes,
get that incremental progress. That's, one of the things that I like to get students excited about research. It's like,
It's these small little steps that lead us to a big breakthrough.
yeah, exactly. So just doing your like little part is going to help. Because if you think about all the little parts that everyone does in the field of research, right? Like that accumulates over time.
That
right?
insight is so much more.
So much. And so let's see here. What else? I wanted to try to shout out that immunologist guy's name. I finally got my Spotify pulled up, and his name is Gary Nolan, episode 2372. Great podcast. Not only is this guy like a wizard in immunology, but he's also like one of the top researchers in UFOs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yes. And so if you're into that sort of thing, you got to check it out. And so it's kind of great, and you sort of understand sort of the way that they, and I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it makes total sense. And so at the beginning of the podcast, Gary Nolan, he's like talking about all of his research and breakthroughs in immunology and fighting cancer, and how he has cancer himself, and all of this like hard work that he does, and all the work that he's done to like push this field forward. And then he gets into UFOs, and you're like, oh
Wow, what a twist.
yes, exactly. And so, yeah, he's actually done work on like some of the, I want to say the like the mummies, or not the mummies. There's like a couple of different, I want to say, like humanoid looking things that have been discovered that are like extremely small, and they're like 3 feet tall or whatever, but they have signs of being like full grown. And so he's gotten to like actually do
Research on those.
research on them and like sort of try to disprove or show like where did this thing come from? Is it alien and blah blah blah. And then he also does research into material science as well.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so he's done a lot of work in like materials that have been or that seem alien. And so, yeah. And so I forget exactly how they got the materials. I think it was like from like a UFO crash site or something like that. I think that's how he explained it. And he's like now in with like the CIA or something like that. And so he gets like these top secret
Interesting.
things. Yeah.
That'd be crazy. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
No, it's a fantastic podcast. You gotta check it out.
Yep.
Well, let's see here. What else? What else? So, Tuesday and Thursday of this last week, we had the intro to engineering club panel. So this seems to be happening like every semester now, because we try to tell students as soon as possible, like get involved, right? And so this is a way of, having a panel of all the clubs that we have. So all the sort of engineering clubs show up to this event, and it was in 201, that new room up there in Howe Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
redid. And so, hello, space travelers. Want to look sharp while bending space time? We've got brand new Physics Society t-shirts. The clean graphic tee is just $20. And if you want to drop some Einstein-level wisdom on the back with this quote, "I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious," that one's only $25. Rep your curiosity, rep the cosmos, and support the Physics Society. Grab yours today before entropy takes over. Yeah, so it was Tuesday, Thursday, and basically, Prather was telling me in advance, like, hey, I kind of want this to just sort of be like a conversation, right? So, but he would go in like alphabetical order. So ASME club went first. And then let's see, what are the other clubs? There's like robotics club.
Computer science club.
There's a computer science club. They weren't there. But yes, there's a computer science club. Astronomy club.
Oh.
Let's see, what else? There's SWE. So it's like the women, Society of Women Engineers. And it's funny because they love telling people like, hey, it's not just for women. Like one of their officers is a guy. I forget his name, but I think Mika runs that. I'm not too sure. But let's see, what else? And then we got to talk about the pod and Discord and all of that. We got to talk to a couple of people who were interested in being members, and so I sent them the links to all of the different platforms that we post on and things like that. And yeah, it was just I thought it was really cool. Intro to engineers are typically, I think, freshmen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Freshman to sophomore.
Yeah, so we try to tell them early, like, hey, get involved. And I get it. At first you don't feel like you can really have the time or whatever, but yeah, get involved. And so I love that now that we've done that the last 2 semesters now. And so it was me, Anjali, and Matt that were there. And so yeah, it was really good turnout too. I think we both sessions. It was like a full classroom, so it was really cool.
That's good.
Let's see here. Oh, ABET.
ABET is coming for computer engineering.
Yes.
I heard about that.
I don't know if it's like strictly for computer engineering. I was just told ABET is coming.
Reevaluate every. I think they need to do this every like few years or something.
Well, I know that they have to. So right now we're working on getting computer engineering ABET accredited,
Yes.
right? And so I don't know if they're here specifically for that. But let's see here. I'm gonna pull up the email really quick. Let's see here. Let's look up. I believe, yeah, Lacey Lacey Taylor sent it to me, which if you don't know Lacey Taylor, definitely reach out to her. She's a great resource, wealth of knowledge for anything
Engineering.
UCO engineering. Yeah. So let's see here. It says ABET will be coming October 18th through 22nd to review the School of Engineering programs, and they have requested to meet with a few students from each major. Okay, so yeah, it's not just computer engineering, it's also
Because they have
all
to
the other engineering.
maintain their accreditation and other.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they want to talk about, really. So yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, and so I put in our first order of t-shirts.
14?
Yes, 14 t-shirts. I'm
that's
super
awesome.
pumped. Like in the
That's so
first
awesome.
first week, dude, we've or no, in the first month, we have we
Sold 14?
sold 14 shirts. I'm
awesome.
I'm super pumped about that. You know, being able to raise some money for our club is going to help us do cool stuff. It's going to allow us to maybe go to conferences, you know, throw some events, maybe buy a camera if we want a camera. I don't know. And so yeah. If you are interested in a shirt, they're $25. And at the moment, we have it to where I sort of will take orders for like a whole month. And then at the end of the month or the first day of that next month, I place the order. Because right now we don't really have a store that people can go to and buy them. And so I would like to set that up. It's an accounting deal at the moment.
And there's also logistics problems.
Yeah. So, yeah, because I would like, you know, anybody to be able to buy a shirt and support Physics Society, you know, no matter if they're in like Malaysia or wherever they are in life. So let's see here. Oh, yeah, I wanted to tell you about this. I got a new solid state drive for my machine, dude.
Really?
Yes. So I ran out of space on.
I'm so sorry.
Every time.
Every time. Okay.
Every time.
We're good now.
It's all good. No worries. No
Safe.
worries. Is that the hotline bling over there?
No, it even says scam likely, so it's a random number. It happens this semester.
My old boss, used to work at Avison Budget Rental Car, and he said, "Oh, my girlfriend's calling. Scam likely." I said, "Well, she's not very faithful, man, because she calls me too."
That's crazy. Yeah, calls everyone, bro.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And so, so I got a new solid state drive SSD for my machine. I got 4 terabytes.
4 terabytes?
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, here's what's crazy. It's like I remember when I was just younger, we were already like blown away for having like what 16 gigabytes.
Yeah, 16 gigs.
And it's like a pen drive. And then when the 1 terabyte hard disk came out, we were all like, wow, that's so much. And now we have 4 terabytes in one SSD. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to imagine.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the SSD is like literally, you know.
No moving parts.
Yeah.
It's just a tiny little chip.
And it's like 2 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
And like maybe 6 inches long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so I ran out of space, and so I was like, okay, well, I can either do this the hard way or the easy way. The hard way would be going through everything and seeing what I can like delete and like get out of there to free up space. But I was like, well, you know, because a lot of it is really programs that I have on there. And so I was like, well, I want to be able to keep downloading programs and stuff. So I was like, screw it. I'm getting a new one.
New one it is.
And, you know, like, I didn't have to get...
How much did it cost?
It was like $260.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
for
sense.
4
That
terabyte.
makes sense. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
but it's like what is it? A Samsung Evo 990, I believe is what it is. And it's like the top of the line. It's like the newest SSD card that came out. And...
You got the cutting edge?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of I want to say... I don't want to say nerd because it's... I mean, yeah, it is a little nerdy, but also at the same time, like, it wasn't necessarily necessary, but I was like, I don't know. at the same time, I do feel like it's necessary, right? You need space. You need to be able to, download things and, open your mind to new things by, and then
Is it did you have the one that's like built in, or is it the one that you can like similar to a pen drive?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
There's like a little M2 slot.
M2, yes.
Yeah, that you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped about that, and yeah. So do you know like? Because I know. Let's see here, the DDR5s, or what are they called? So DDR, or is like RAM, so random access memory, I believe, and so that doesn't actually store things on it,
No, it doesn't.
but the solid state drive does.
Yes, storage and memory is very different things.
So if you have more, let's say memory, right? Will your computer go faster?
So just think of memory as short-term memory.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can run more complex softwares on it.
Yeah.
Like for example, some people do AAA games.
Yeah.
Or like some people run simulations like you.
Yeah.
You need more memory to hold the temporary information that is needed to run that game or that simulation. Storage is where you keep the entire files, the things that will not go away when you turn the shit off,
Yes. Yeah, and I should really be close to an expert on this. I've taken Computer Org 1 and 2, and so Computer Org 1 is sort of like the logic behind a computer, right? And then you start to get into a little bit of a hardware stuff. But Computer Org 2 is, you start really learning about different memories, the cache and how that works in your machine, and the different types of cache, different types of memory, sort of the, what do they call it? The hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It gets very complicated.
The hardware hierarchy, right? And so yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much to know. It's hard to know it all, right? Let's see.
I mean, that's
here.
where it gets fun, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Hardware hierarchy.
So, let's see here. So yeah, I really think we should stay in this room. But do you have any arguments against it?
I have no arguments because as long as there's no interruptions, like major interruptions, I don't mind at all.
Yeah. So my thought is, okay, so last time, well, the first time we recorded in here, there was like a lady with a vacuum going.
And then a bunch of girls laughing and giggling in the background.
Yeah,
it sort of interrupted our interview with Dr. Prather.
I don't, like, to me, the vacuum that's a little extra. But, like, the people talking, I think to me is all right. I think it gives, like, an element of, like, hey, guys, check it out. I mean, we're in school, right?
Yep.
We're at the school library. We're recording.
We are.
And so, to me, that just...
Sort of makes it real.
Yes, exactly. And I like that aspect of it.
I feel like every now and then, maybe make a change to a different room would be a good switch up, too.
Yeah.
A more comfortable room, like closed up, less noise. I feel like, especially if you want to dive deeper into topics, those rooms would be the best. Or if we have guests to minimize like interruptions.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I still feel like,
it's a good spot. No, it's definitely a good spot. But every now and then, switch out. I wouldn't think it's that bad.
Yes. And so also, I like the green screen background. For one, I think even just keeping it green for now, I think is kind of cool. Like it really, is in your face. It's like a very bright color, especially for those people who are watching, right? We wear black a lot. And so
The contrast is there.
Yes, exactly.
Contrast is definitely there.
And we're also looking to try to find some sort of video
Or GIF.
or GIF, or GIF.
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 I guess GIF.
Is it? What is it?
GIF.
People talk about this all the time, and I don't think we've still gotten to the bottom of it.
Let me find out.
And so, yeah, I would love there to be like a night sky behind us, and like every now and then you see like a shooting star shooting through the
GIF.
sky.
It's a GIF.
GIF, okay.
Yes, it's a
GIF.
soft G.
GIF. I don't know. To me, GIF just sounds cooler. GIF. GIF. GIF sounds like GIF. My name is GIF.
Well, technically both are right,
Yeah.
according to the Oxford English Dictionary.
Both are right?
Both are
Get
right.
out of here. I
Both
don't
are
like that.
acceptable.
I don't like that. I like a solid, like a line is drawn in the sand. It's either this or nothing at all, right?
The objective truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. But well, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I followed the Oxford Dictionary, so I guess it's either one's fine.
Yeah.
Either one's fine. Oops.
Do you have any ideas for what you would want to put in the background here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the black hole that we have on our shirts.
Yeah, that would be
It's just
cool.
there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Physics
What if
society,
we
there's a
could-
black hole just orbiting there, like accreting a star or something orbiting.
Interesting. Because
You get
there's
me?
sort of like the pictures I've seen, right? They make it look like sort of like there's a kind of like a mirror. It's like a funny mirror.
What I'm thinking is,
Uh-huh.
we could, you know how we have an 8-bit intro with the Jupyter Brain, right?
Yeah.
I think, you know how it's 8-bit, it looks like a screen, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like we should make it sort of like a satellite orbiting a black hole that's eating a gas giant. And it could be sort of a little wink at it because the gas giant could be the Jupyter Brain to eat up or something. I don't know, I think that'll be fun little
Yeah.
like GIF
Yeah.
in the background is running.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm down. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So the meat and potatoes of this conversation
The meat and potatoes.
is basically we wanted to finish the scientific method.
By
We didn't want to
the
just
ethical skeptic. We don't want to just leave it hanging. We want to really wrap it up, looking through it, get to the meat of it, and then
Yes.
hopefully move on to a future topic. Do we spin the wheel or do we just pick one in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's been a couple of things that have been popping up in my head that I would love to talk about.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like, for instance, I would love to talk about philosophy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And not just philosophy. And, this, we could go either way. There's so many different branches of philosophy, right? But one of the, how would I say, conversations in philosophy that interests me the most today is sort of the different philosophies that you take when trying to build an AI model, right?
Oh.
So there's like the Platonist way where like everything's an object. And then there's, I don't know, there's a bunch of different ones,
Different
right?
models to build it.
Yes,
Different ways.
and exactly. And so depending on sort of the philosophy that
The framework.
exactly, which is basically the learning framework of the model, right? So a lot of so I think it would be really cool to talk about sort of like maybe we could talk about like LLMs, like what is the like really the philosophy of that type of learning, right? And because there's I forget exactly what it's called. Oh, I think I have it pulled up here. Let's see here. Do. And so, if I can remember right, it talks about like, what is this? Yeah, it talks about like, having to have a body in order to.
Embodied AI.
Yeah, but there was like a specific name for it that I thought was interesting.
Embodied learning?
Ooh, I can't find it. I was.
Well,
I was.
mean-
Oh, is that post-humanism? Is
well,
that
no. Okay, so
AI isn't just a tool that reshapes what intelligent means? No, that's
so
not
post
post-human.
no. Posthumanism is just what comes after us
Yeah.
as humanity, you know?
Interesting. Yeah, I can't think. Anyways, but yeah, basically, essentially saying like you need a body in order to like really understand the universe.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, so many papers have shown that multimodality really impacts, especially if you engineer the feature space well, right? Multimodality really helps carry over to the learning and the reasoning of the AI. Because let's say you want to reason about color, you can't even see color. How can you do it? Of course, LLMs are different. LLMs are able to, at least the smarter they are, the larger you scale them, they're able to organize the color space without ever seeing color. That's a different case altogether, but clearly seeing color would be a better way to intuitively be able to learn the relationship between different wavelengths, right? So
yes. Yeah, and so I don't know. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, well, maybe AI is sort of, I mean, it's, how would I say, adjacent to physics, right? There's a lot of physics in AI, but it's not like, well, I don't know. I think Bishop
I like to think all fields.
he got a Nobel Prize in physics, right, for his neural networks, Dr. Bishop. And so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it would be better to sort of talk about philosophy as it pertains to physics first, and then maybe get into AI or something like that.
Right now, as we are already going into the scientific method and the ethics behind it. I feel like the next one we could just go into the pure, how do we know what we know first? So like philosophy, epistemology.
Okay.
Then that naturally leads to empiricism and natural philosophy, right?
Okay,
Then
so
physics, then so on and so forth. We were sort of building the foundation of knowledge from the chronological history of how science came to be.
yeah, so we could sort of
Follow that flow.
I know I talk about this all the time.
Yep.
And I hype on it. It's like I want to make everything as organic as we can.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe we just like
Follow the flow.
follow the flow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm
dude.
down. Okay, let's get into the meat of it.
Yeah, let's get it. You wanna start off?
So I'm pretty sure last time we ended it on hypothesis development, at least the one that we actually looked into. So do you wanna help us like make a small little summary?
Oh, let's see here. So
last time,
let's see. Let's see what.
because the last time we went
Hold up
through
at the moment. So observation, intelligence. Where's hypothesis at?
right down here, number 6.
Okay, yeah. So I got everything before or after hypothesis.
Okay, yeah,
As
that's pretty solid.
But I think we stopped. Didn't we stop at hypothesis?
We did.
Okay. So
Yeah, so that's where we wrapped it up.
Okay, so we can
that's
go
what I
into
mean,
inductive and statistical studies.
Yes, but do we need a small little recap? So like,
Of what happened.
So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, do you want to give a little summary of anything before hypothesis?
Can you rattle something off the top of your head?
I can do it.
Yeah.
So basically, on the last episode, if you did not know, we were a bit just as confused because the way the ethical skeptic wrote this article, it's just so deep, so rich, so much complexity because he's very specific. He doesn't like to be vague. And although some words are naturally vague in nature, but he likes to elaborate a lot on it. So first is observation. Obviously, you can't make a hypothesis if you never observed the phenomenon. And what he proposed is you ask certain quality questions. What do we know? What do we not know? And is there anything about this topic that's tabooed or neglected? Then it's intelligence, where we start gathering patterns and structures of that phenomenon, and even see if there are claims that has been dismissed or any claims that's already been made, and we compare that. Then necessity basically means if we're wrong with this topic, we know it. If we're wrong with this topic, does it cause harm? Is there harm at all in the process of knowing or not knowing this topic? So does ignorance cause harm in this situation, in that phenomenon? So this is basically just saying that, do we need to know about this? Do we need a hypothesis or theory of this model, or is there any alternatives that already exist? Then next, number 4 is construct formulation. It's basically just after you gather all the ideas, compare all the different alternatives, all the different hypotheses, compare them, put them together, try to formulate a formal model. And then number 5 is Occam's razor, basically reduce and remove any unnecessary elements. Although I feel like this is more of a skeptic's job. It's like, is this part necessarily true? Is this part necessary to the model? And then finally, is hypothesis development. Basically, this is where we truly question this whether this framework has epistemic strength or any ontological backbone to it. Does it actually explain or justify or even attempt to prove or disprove any model?
Yes, yeah. And so, yeah, we're trying to strengthen the construct into a robust hypothesis.
Yes. Now, number 7, the new one we need to, which is inductive and statistical study.
Yes, and so what I have here is assess what kinds of inference can address critical questions, avoid confirmation bias, and evaluate data maturity and ethical use. Determine if more data or direct observation is needed.
So if you guys don't know what inference means, inference is you can use existing knowledge to interpolate or extrapolate new information about something else. And that's what inferences mean. And you usually hear inference whenever we talk about statistics, like Bayesian statistics, or even like just statistical methods in general, or even large language models. When we say we run inference, that's usually just means we already have a pattern. What can we find from that pattern? That's what inference means. So,
yeah, in AI, it's kind of interesting because essentially it's supposed to be a sort of thought process, right? But what they've seen is that really what it's thinking is not what is outputting from that inference.
So, you're talking about, so there's a recent study they found is that chain of thought reasoning, whenever the AI outputs a chain of thoughts, what they found is the chain of thoughts that output has nothing to do with, well, not nothing, but little to do with what's actually going through the weights and biases of the network.
Exactly. And so is that different from inference?
So inference is more like, okay, let's say I say let's start with the premise. Let's say all men are mortal. Socrates is a man.
Yeah.
What can you infer from this? He is mortal.
Yeah.
So this is inference. You get a set of patterns and knowledge. You use this pattern and knowledge to infer a new information that isn't already part of the data set.
Interesting.
So you're a man, you're human. I would likely assume you are mortal. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So inference just means with that distribution, with that distribution of data that we already got, what's likely the outcome?
Yeah. And so there was, so talking about like how an AI model gets to its output, there was a recent study that came out and said that like the way that it comes up with, let's say like 6 plus 9, right, is not the way that we would think it would be. It doesn't just say, oh, there's like, you know, how we think to add 6 plus 9.
6 objects plus 9 objects, 15 objects. Yeah,
it uses a bunch of like weird ways to get to the solution. And I forget exactly what it is, but yeah, it's not doing and getting to like math questions the way like we would.
I saw another paper, well, I don't know if it's a paper, but like an article on how they use the small model, that they specialize only on training for mathematical like quantitative thinking. They found that the way it represents numbers is not the way we do. Like how we used to describe and count numbers is like concrete objects, right? We try to manipulate concrete objects. 5 objects on the table plus 5 objects on the table is 10, right? But for that model, it sort of uses rotations in a number space, like a Cartesian space or something. I find that pretty fascinating. It just proves that like depending on how the model's made, they fundamentally think differently. Which makes sense because it's like the brain, if it's fundamentally
nature versus nurture.
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
I say it's a bit of both.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
So yes, inductive and statistical study just means gathering more data to improve, improve the model to see, to prove or disprove your model that you just made. and also avoid biases, because statistics, the numbers don't lie. As long that's only assuming if your methods are right and you don't have the intention to lie in the first place. So, and are there basically this part just asked, is there anything that anything else we can find in the data, and is there anything we can do than just simply gathering more data?
Yeah. Let's see here. So then the next one is competitive hypothesis framing.
This is interesting.
So compare competing hypotheses. Okay, that makes sense. And then consider ethical nulls. Ethical nulls. And identify inference types needed to narrow options. Okay.
I mean, that's similar to the elimination method where you, just start eliminating whatever can be contradicted, like, proof by contradiction or whatever.
Yeah, what is it? Okay, so I like this phrase, ethical nulls. It's like things that aren't, I mean, the default assumption in science, there's no effect, no difference, or nothing going on until proven otherwise. That's a standard null hypothesis. Oh, okay. Then, okay, so that was a standard null hypothesis. Then the ethical null hypothesis, a default moral stance you adopt until evidence justifies changing it. Okay. An example, assume this treatment is unsafe until we prove otherwise.
Or assume people are innocent until proven otherwise, to minimize harm.
Okay,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's that's a weird way to say that, but makes sense.
Yep. Cool. Next is deductive and inductive consilience. And basically it's trying to use experimental approaches to try and, deduce, right? To find a causal or, what's it called? A causal relationship, I guess, of how that phenomenon came to be. And also trying to, again, prove or disprove the model. And what other disciplines are needed to examine this hypothesis? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Some phenomena are multidisciplinary. It makes sense.
It says prioritize falsification over deduction. Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, because we're saying falsification is a more powerful tool, essentially.
Yes. If it's unfalsifiable, it's not a theory.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an idea, not a theory.
Deduction over induction, and integrate insights from other disciplines. Yeah.
And also keep in mind, a theory is not a hypothesis. A hypothesis is not a theory. People often like to interchange these. Hypothesis is what hasn't been proven or backed up by evidence. Theory has been. So yeah, string theory is not a theory. So anyways, what do I know? I'm an undergrad, right? So anyways,
I told you we're gonna try not to be controversial.
It's not controversial. It's just by definition. They have a lot of mathematical groundwork. It does explain a lot of some of our existing phenomenon, but it doesn't predict any new phenomenon, so it cannot be falsified. Conveniently. All its experiments on the Planck scale energy. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. It just seems and sounds kind of cool, though. String theory.
Hypothesis sounds cooler. It's more realistic.
Like, everything sort of has these strings connected between them.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of pop science love to say that, everything is a vibration. Yeah. Well, that's what, like, Nikola Tesla said. But this is just taking it to the next level, because it's saying that we have 11-dimensional strings vibrating at a Planck scale. Different modes represent different properties, and those modes is what creates our particles.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so number 10 is hypothesis modification and reduction. How do I modify the hypothesis to address its weakness, or address the weakness in the process of hypothesis reduction? Is it necessary that we return to step 6, hypothesis development? So basically, if we found something that's wrong, is there anything we can do to improve the model? Are we missing something? Or do we need to go back to redevelop the hypothesis?
Yeah, that makes... I mean, some of these things, it's hard to sort of say something else to them, because it's like, Makes sense. And you know, I was that podcast I was listening to this morning, Machine Learning Street Talk. This guy, a lot of times before he said something in response to a question he was asked, is, well, I don't know if I can say it any better than what someone already else has. And yeah, I mean, we aren't, you know,
I mean, the important part of research is the literature review, which is
Yes.
usually the first step, right? It's to figure out what do we know so far, what have we found so far, and make sure what you're studying hasn't already been studied. And if it did, can you repeat it?
yes.
So that's why literature review, in my opinion, is the most important part.
Yes.
You can't research what you don't know, but well, that's kind of well. The point of research is to research what you don't know. Well, what I mean is you need to research to make sure that we already have whether or not someone already did it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be doing something that's
Don't want to
already,
reinvent the wheel.
yeah, or do something that's already been like disproven, or
Cold fusion.
yeah, it's you're trying to find results that if you just looked around a little bit more,
yep.
you'd find there isn't
probably-
any,
yeah.
or there is already, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's why. So, oh wait, we're already at 11, right?
I believe so.
Falsification, testing, and repeatability, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How do I apply falsification in order to relieve science of having constantly keep addressing zombie alternatives?
Zombie alternatives. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
What is a zombie? What are you?
So zombie, I would assume zombie alternatives just hypotheses that does not do anything, that cannot be proven or disproven. They're just there. They're not alive because we can't prove them or disprove them. So they're just there. They're just
Yeah.
hypotheses sitting in a multiverse theory. So anyways,
Man, yeah. All right, feeling spicy today. I see you.
oh yeah. I just like to keep things one universe policy at a time. Let's just stay. If we can't solve things in our universe, stop thinking about other universes, bro.
But what if by
If they found it, sure. If they found it.
What if by thinking about multiple universes helps us to understand our universe, right? What if that math helps us break through in some other aspect?
No, I'm not saying it won't.
'Cause
I'm just saying that, for example, it's like every time we make a breakthrough in another field, it does bring over to our field. But I feel like there are some things that's just too far away.
Yeah.
It's like trying to use black hole physics to improve rocketry. It probably does improve the rocket equation somehow, I guess. Like, I understand our ideas of gravity and whatnot, but like,
Yeah.
how else? What else is it gonna do?
I mean, it's pretty cool.
But it's still pretty
premise
cool.
in a movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
though?
definitely a good step for a movie. So
Like, just man, yeah.
I'm just more skeptical and critical.
The whole idea of being able to jump to not just like different time, but like a different universe is just insane.
I feel like, assuming what we know about cosmology is correct, the universe is already infinite, right? At least as far as we know, based on the measurements and whatnot. If the universe is already infinite, why do you need other universes? You have one infinite universe. Why do you need more? Like, it's already infinite.
Infinite.
It doesn't make sense. I feel like if you can't even explore everything here, going to another universe won't change anything. And also, if you think about it, paradoxically, if there are other universes with different sets of laws of physics, you can't go there. You will not be able to exist there because your laws of physics and the laws of physics there cannot work together. They probably have some domain wall blocking.
Well, you could come up with some sort of drone to go over there,
And the drone will get destroyed because it has totally different laws of physics.
you build the drone based off of the physics of that other universe.
How do you build something based off of a different physics in a
I don't know,
universe
man.
of different
This is
physics.
called Jupiter brain. We're just
Brainstorming.
trying to think outside the box over here.
Brainstorming, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I wanted to go back to zombie hypothesis just to like sort of clear the. So zombie hypothesis is a theory or idea that's been thoroughly debunked by evidence but refuses to die.
Oh yes, we love
Yeah.
these things, don't we?
It's dead scientifically, no solid evidence, often disproven. It survives socially. People keep believing or funding it, and it wastes time because researchers have to keep re-explaining why it's wrong. Yeah. I mean, this is like the flat Earth theory, right?
Flat Earth, or the idea like, oh, humans are only using like 10 or 20% of their brain.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, everything's a vibration, bro.
Yeah.
Everything's an energy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's funny though, because yeah, your brain it's all being used at the same time.
It's all so there's a nuance to that.
Yeah.
If you look into neuroscience, your brain is using basically about the same energy as it does when you're asleep or you're awake. It's just that it allocates its energy to different parts of the brain when you're using different parts of your brain. But at any given moment, your whole brain is still being used. It's just some are more dormant than others. You know what using the whole brain at the same time is called? Epilepsy. A fucking storm happening in your brain.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I mean, there isn't a moment where you're not thinking. Even when you're asleep, your brain is still constantly working to maintain homeostasis, to reorganize thoughts and memories, still learning from your experiences. So your brain is constantly active, and it's constantly consuming 20% of your body's calories.
Yeah.
It's always active.
Yeah, I guess the thing is like people are still looking for that like magic drug that's just gonna like unlock the genius inside of you.
I mean, if they are still looking for that, that proves that they're not geniuses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're smart
Well,
enough,
they're trying
know,
to help other people, right? Be
Well-
geniuses. Maybe they are the genius, and they want to make everybody else geniuses. So
okay. Actually, I was about to talk about that. Have you heard of like transcranial magnetic stimulation?
yeah.
I think that's pretty fascinating.
Okay.
Like they use magnetic fields
Yeah.
and electrical fields to stimulate certain parts of your brain, non-invasively too.
Okay.
It's like a thinking cap,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And they're able to make a person much better at doing, like, for example, math.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's not gonna make you an instant savant where you start seeing numbers flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like reasonable improvement.
Yeah.
Marginal.
Would you get a chip in your brain to
Hell
like
no.
make you?
Hell
No, really?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not? What if it's like, how would I say? It's like the 10th generation, and
I don't want to.
we know that it's going to work
I guess
perfectly in
it
your brain.
depends.
Nothing's gonna go wrong. It's
Okay,
like
if-
99 or 0.01% failure.
My problem is capitalism. I don't want
Okay.
to stop paying my subscription and start seeing ads in my brain, bro.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
I see that, but like, what if it was? I don't know. What if it was like, there's probably going to be
If it's an
multiple
open
different
source
companies that
project.
do this, right? And what if this company focuses on making sure that there is no ads, and it's just pure like computational bliss?
If that's the case, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Why not? Like, in my opinion, if it's not necessary
Yeah.
and it doesn't actually improve my quality of life that much, I won't do it. But if it does improve quality of life, why not?
Well, that's the thing. Like, people are already talking about like how big of a leap that, of course this is a hypothesis, right? How big of a leap we're going to get from being able to like, let's say, connect straight to the internet with our brains and be able to just search things. So if we think about something.
Higher bandwidth, basically. Higher
Yeah.
bandwidth communication.
So let's say you wanted to know what the heck is zombie hypothesis. Well, that information's already there because when you think about it, it like routes you to the internet and boom, you know it already.
I don't know. I can think of a million ways that could go wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I still think it'd be pretty cool.
I feel like once the technology is bulletproof, no
Yeah.
capitalism involved, no government. Like,
Yes.
I guess like
I'm asking the how
Just
would
the
I say?
pure technology, assuming that it's just pure tech to improve your knowledge and
Yes,
intelligence.
and
Sure.
it's done like the best way
The most
possible.
ethical way, the
Yeah.
most solar punk,
Yeah.
utopian way. Sure.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Okay.
No hesitation.
That's hilarious.
I'm just very skeptical whenever
Yeah.
people make a quote unquote breakthrough.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's every product.
It's just interesting that now we're able to read a lot of, well, not a lot, but like we can consistently read the brain pattern, at least on a small scale.
Yes.
Like, but did you know there's a study that they're able to transfer knowledge from one mouse to another?
No, I haven't seen that.
So it's not knowledge the way you think, where you wear and you're like, I know kung fu. It's more like so that there's two mice. One mice went through a maze. It recorded the signals of the brain that it solved the maze. The second mice, right, never went through the maze before. It stimulates the same signal in its hippocampus. Yes, and that mice was able to solve the maze faster.
Wow.
As if it already knows where to go.
That's crazy.
Or at least to the mice perspective, it's probably just familiar with the area. Deja vu, like type shit.
So mice can rapidly transfer knowledge between tasks with similar structures, but this ability decreases when transitioning to tasks of higher complexity.
Yes. So simple mazes, for example, because the feature space that's represented by the hippocampus, you can map out the neurons, right? That represents that space. Because you know how in our hippocampus, I think it's called the entorhinal cortex or something.
Entorhinal cortex.
Or yeah. So that's where our space cells are, the grid cells.
That's a new one for me. Entorhinal cortex. That's a great word right there. Entorhinal. Yeah, you're right. Entorhinal cortex, also known as the inside rhinal area, is a crucial part of the brain media temporal lobe memory system. It serves as the major gateway between the hippocampal formation and the neocortex, playing a significant role in higher order cognitive processing. Wow. So
you should look into
the brain is it?
Near the hippocampus. It's in the midbrain.
There was a picture of this and then it disappeared.
So you should look into grid cells and space cells. Search grid cells and space cells.
Okay.
Basically, grid cells and space cells are cells in our brain that map out location relative to you. There are even special cells like vector cells that look at orientation of an object.
Okay, yeah.
So basically what they found is grid cells and place cells are able to map, especially when a mice goes through a maze, it maps out the signals of the maze.
Yeah, that's that video from I don't know if that's exactly what you're referencing, but there's a video. Yes. Where he talks about the representation of space in the brain.
Yes, but I don't think he made a video on the transfer learning. If he did,
no. It was just talking about how in your brain.
Yes, the place cells.
Yeah.
Artem Kirsanov. You should definitely watch his videos.
Yes.
Very informative. He's a graduate student working on computational neuroscience. I learned so much from his videos. You should definitely check him out. Very, very informative. Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
He's so good at teaching, and his animations are amazing too.
I want to see. I want to try to do a little better at this. I wonder if I can share my screen right now and sort of like pull up.
That'd be great.
But
share screen, yeah. So anyways, I'll keep talking while you do that. So basically, when you look at a specific group of neurons in your hippocampus, those specific place cells and grid cells, you can map out a signal and correlate it to a specific location. Let's say a mice is here, neuron 1000 lights up, and in area B, neuron 931 lights up. You can start mapping out, this neuron means here, this neuron means there. Now, after mapping this out, you can transfer the signal, at least for simpler mazes, to another rat or another mice, and that mouse or rat can solve the maze faster.
Yeah,
it's just pretty wild. Yeah, pretty wild.
I don't know if it can. Interesting. I'm trying over here, but that, yeah. Oh, now I want to go back to display capture. How do we? Oh, no. I've totally screwed this up now. That's hilarious. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
So apparently dorsal medial entorhinal cortex, that's the location
Okay.
of where these grid cells are.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can just sort of. I can just take a screenshot of like a YouTube
Of
video.
Arden Kirsanov's YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
and we can put that up on
there.
the-
We can even put a
make that
link
look
in
cooler.
the
Yeah,
link his channel down below.
for sure.
Yes, and also maybe if you want, you guys can check it out. You can search him up right now.
Yeah, extremely interesting guy. Really interesting YouTube videos. I believe they're like sort of like neuroscience and machine learning.
Yes, because computational neuroscience, I feel like it's the best of both worlds. You learn both about neuroscience and computation and also machine learning. It's just like all of it together.
It's beautiful.
perfect.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and now people are starting to say that, being a researcher in neural networks or like AI, right, is essentially what you're sort of asking from yourself is to be a neuroscientist.
But for machines.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's true. It's true.
wild. Wild. I mean, I love it. I think it's one of my favorite fields out there at the moment.
For sure.
And
Anyways, we got a bit of a tangent.
yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So
my bad.
What's next? Oh, we were talking about the zombies.
Yeah, zombie
Now,
alternatives.
theory formulation and refinement.
So, what features of competing alternatives bear merit? And so, let's say you have two different alternative theories and they both carry weight, but some carries more, some carries less, or both carry weight in different ways. Then you could have some theories that can coexist. For example, general relativity is a very good theory for large scale space objects, but very bad at small scales. But quantum field theory is so good. It's an effective theory that basically explains pretty much every phenomenon we have on a quantum scale. So these two theories can coexist. But so what have we learned and how must we neutralize parties desiring and codifying an alternative prematurely? What feature of an alternative can be adjusted in order to reduce entropy of understanding? Pretty interesting. What objective next steps and replications are necessary?
Oh, setting replication plans. So this means like you're trying to replicate it yourself?
Yes.
Is that,
I mean, you need a set of experiments to replicate it to prove,
Yeah.
Can you derive this equation anywhere? Can you repeat this experiment anywhere,
Yes.
If it's not repeatable, it's not science.
For sure. For sure.
Consistency is key. So peer review. Peer review obviously is straightforward. Well, it's not as straightforward as it seems, but as it sounds, you just need
Some peers.
peers who are knowledgeable in the field to criticize, review your work to see if it actually works. And of course, repeatability again. If they can't repeat it and they criticize it, then you have to defend it. But usually if you can do it, and if it's good science, other people can repeat it.
Yeah, I know Dr. Teo was going through this this summer, actually. One of the reasons why he was so busy this summer is I guess there was an issue with one of the ways that he was using density functional theory, right? So I guess there was like a problem in his code and it wasn't finding if I can remember right, like the right distributions. It was neglecting some things that he wasn't supposed to be, something like that. I would love to get him on and talk about it because it's actually a really interesting lesson I think we could all take from is that it's good to get feedback, and for him he got the feedback and he went right to it and tried to figure out how to fix it. And so yeah, and I believe they're pretty close to publishing, right? Like this was part of the publication process,
which is the final.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that was like part of essentially the peer review. I think it's the publication. They have to go through a process and so I'm sure they have like experts in a bunch of different fields
To look at it.
to look at it, and so So yeah, I guess one of the guys found the issue, and so he had to go back through and totally recalculate some things and
Oh yeah,
fun stuff.
that's science.
Yeah, and so
The
so
wisdom of
yeah,
crowds.
that's peer review. I think sometimes peer review can get a bad rap. You know,
I mean, peer review technically is as good as it gets. If other experts agree, that means that's why it's called scientific consensus.
Yeah.
But just because people have consensus on something doesn't mean it's right. But basically, if everyone can test it out and all experts agree, wow, this seems repeatable and we can do it, science.
Yeah, and how do I say? It'd be fascinating to know if and there has to be situations throughout history where peer review maybe would be hard to actually take place because of the fact that maybe this person's like on the bleeding edge, right? Like quantum mechanics, whenever it first came out, like who was actually able to peer review that, right?
I mean, they did it though. Because remember the picture of the smartest picture in history
Yeah.
for all the scientists? They all peer review each other. So when you have a publication, you have an equation, another scientist do it, they try to recalculate, they try to test it. They
Yeah.
try to put different initial conditions.
But I wonder if there's like a situation where there's not like a big group of people, right, that are
well-known in the
experts
fields.
in some field that maybe this guy has made some breakthrough in. And so then what is the the process in that situation? Yeah, I'd just be interested to see if there's any
that is
situation
an
like that.
interesting idea. I mean, for example, do you remember like when what's it called? David Bohm and what's his name? Louis de Broglie, when they came out with pilot theory
Bowman
and
mechanics.
everyone, Bowman mechanics and whatnot. And then they peer pressure, sort of the peer pressure made Louis de Broglie drop that theory. But it's so I feel like peer pressure, the peer review can become either a encouraging force or a very fast shutdown for someone's idea. But either way, if you have an idea, work on it. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Just be intellectually honest with yourself. That's the way you learn the fastest. If you're wrong, just accept that you're wrong. That's science. The science doesn't claim to know everything. It just claims that we can find out.
Yeah.
If you can't find out, it's probably just not worth looking at.
Yeah.
It's unfalsifiable.
Let's see here. ChatGPT says, yes, this has happened. I should really be using Perplexity since I've got that free month now. So it's happened multiple times in history.
Not sponsored, by the way.
And it's we're trying to get as many sponsors as we can. Of course, I think the big companies that we've shouted out, like they're huge companies. They'll probably never sponsor us, but it's worth trying.
I mean, if they do, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also, before
So-
we get into it, I just want to ask you: do you believe in the Annus Mirabilis, so miracle year? Do you believe in that? So basically, they found that a lot of creative people, like artists, musicians, and even scientists, they have that one specific year where they are just on a roll, pumping out paper after paper. That's a breakthrough after breakthrough. Do you believe in that?
Do I believe that somebody could,
I don't believe it though.
you know,
I believe there are someone could have a peak year where they have a lot of miracle papers, but I don't think that once that miracle year is over, they can't publish anything good anymore. I don't believe that.
oh, you're saying that you could still do good work down the road.
Down the road, yes.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying that there's a specific year in your life
Oh, yeah.
that's so good for your endeavors.
Yeah, what is that?
Your
That's
prime.
not called
It's sort of like your prime. Annus Mirabilis.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what it's called. What is it? It's called when you have
Yeah. See,
breakthroughs.
a remarkable auspicious year. It's basically like that specific year.
Okay.
You keep making breakthroughs and breakthroughs.
Well, that's like the 27 Club, right? Where a lot
After
of
27.
a lot of famous artists have died at the age of 27, right? like
that's a big group.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
A bunch of different artists, right? But no, I mean, honestly, I'm a little biased because, of course, I don't want to believe that people are going to do their best work when they're, let's say, in their 20s, right?
No, it doesn't necessarily say that there's one specific age. It just says
I've definitely heard people say that like 20. I believe Heisenberg, was it Heisenberg?
I mean, Einstein published his paper when in his early 20s,
Yeah, it was.
right?
Let's double check that.
1905.
Or how old was Einstein? Einstein during his. Oh, we can just do this.
I'll just search it up. Einstein's age when he published.
26.
Yeah.
He was working at a patent. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Einstein is he didn't have a professorship or anything. He was working at a patent office.
Well, actually, he does have mentors. So I'm pretty sure we talked about it. He does have
Did have?
Yeah, he did have. My bad. I'm a time traveler. Sorry, my bad. So he had other colleagues that he reached out to teach him math to work on those ideas.
Yes, there was.
He does visit universities and whatnot to ask for consultation and whatnot. I forgot if it's Riemann that is.
Yeah.
That
the Riemann geometry.
Yeah. That helped him.
Yeah, understand the geometry better so that he could sort of
use the math.
Flesh out his theories, the mathematics of his theory.
Bernard Riemann.
Yeah, so I also heard that, and we should look this up. I heard his wife also, or his wife or girlfriend, something like that, did a lot of the math for him as well.
Really?
Yes,
Einstein?
and she was never actually cited in his papers.
You mean Einstein or Riemann?
Einstein.
Oh, really?
Yes. I forget who was telling me this. Maybe it was Professor Prather. I don't know. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure.
There's no solid evidence that suggests that the wife did his math. However, there are letters that showed that they worked closely on projects and
no solid historical evidence.
Yeah, but he does in a lot of the exchange of letters does show that he expressed pride in their shared work when they worked together. So her roles.
Let's see. Historians who examined their correspondence and drafts found no equation notes or manuscripts by Malieva that indicated she developed or formalized Einstein's physics.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, well, I take
think
that
that's
back.
more like a myth.
Interesting. Well, and then sorry, Prather, for saying you said that. I doubt you would have said that to me, knowing that. But who was saying that? I wish I could remember because
I don't think it's Prather. I don't remember recalling it's from Prather, but I heard of it before, but I looked into it. It's not.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, she's.
It's like saying Nikola Tesla. It's like saying Einstein calling Nikola Tesla the smartest man alive. He was actually using a sarcastic remark.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because Tesla was challenging Einstein on his theory of relativity. Because
to know that those guys were alive at the same time is so crazy.
Well, Tesla was very old though at the time. But Tesla still challenged Einstein. He thinks that the ether and whatnot is the reason why there's gravity and whatnot. And even though Einstein's theory just at the time was just proven right again and again, and so Einstein made a sarcastic remark. Oh, I don't know. You should ask Nikola Tesla because he's smarter than me, you know.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's so funny.
Both are great men, though. Great
men. Yeah. I mean, people are still building Tesla's inventions, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think there's
AC
like
today
YouTube channels that go into this. There's people who are like building Tesla inventions on YouTube.
Tesla coils and whatnot. Yeah,
a bunch of different things. What did you say?
Tesla coils.
No, before.
We won't have alternating current without.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, which there was like a big battle or something like that. The
yeah.
history behind AC and DC.
The Battle of the Currents. Yes,
And
yes.
how we ended up with DC in everyone's homes.
Yeah. Battle of the Currents or the War of Currents is very interesting.
Yes. Very fascinating. I think there's a movie. There's definitely movies and documentaries that are really cool. If you're
I like how this guy edited the AC/DC, the Tesla and the Edison on it. Funny as well.
Nice.
But anyway, I guess that wraps up the ethical skeptics.
Is that okay?
I guess next time, if anyone interested in it, we can go deeper dive, or you can read it up on yourself. He makes this. He definitely writes very interesting articles.
Yes.
He's a very big skeptic and very.
There's so many articles here.
He's
the
very
Gray
methodical.
Man, Breaking the Spell of Dissonance. I don't even know what the heck that is. The strategic mindset. Where did all the workers go? The party
He's just
rules.
extremely passionate to avoid pseudoscience.
Yes. Oh my God! Not another skeptic book. The shtick of canned conspiracy theory journalism. How to detect propaganda. The Art of Professional Lie, Part 2 of 2. Yeah, crazy. Oh, but I think we should definitely end with his statement here at the end. And so at the end of the article, he says, each conclusion of science never being able to rest upon its laurels, as it must be brought into this set of plurality again and again. Not that we question everything like a babbling idiot, rather that we regard the truth that there exists no theory or construct which resides in perpetual state of non-questionability. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Beautiful. But yeah, do read into it. Again, whatever you read, be skeptical, think it through, discuss with people, see if it makes sense, avoid your personal biases and echo chambers.
Yeah, so we might as well. Right? Should we try to be a skeptic against this guy in this article? I mean, I really don't know how, but I think we should maybe.
He seems to be the expert of this field, though.
Yeah.
But I love debating. So
So are you skeptical about anything that we read in this?
So I just saw an article also by the ethical skeptic. He says Carl Sagan was just dead wrong, and Carl Sagan's one of my heroes. So I don't know. I don't know if he's.
Oh my gosh! What? Okay.
I'm reading it right now. I don't know what he's talking about, but basically, information is a market. Extraordinary claims and simplest explanation are the two common buzz phrases that of the market's hustle. Be cautious, such easy and equivocal dispositions, especially as it regards an implicit appeal to truth. I wonder what is this criticism talking about.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm just gonna copy this whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Put it in ChatGPT and see what we get.
Carl Sagan is credited to the famous apotheme. How do you pronounce this word? Of social skepticism. Extraordinary claims demands extraordinary evidence. I still live by that. And while this truism is a semantic truth, it is not also therefore a logical truth. That is also to say that the principles bear some utility in certain specific circumstances, but also bears potential of encouraging a mystique of logical calculus that, when blindly applied in other contexts. What?
Let's see here. So I got a summary of this. So this essay from Ethical Skeptic is a critique of Carl Sagan's famous maxim: extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, which we've all heard that, right?
Yep, everyone probably hears about that.
Don't be so sad over there, dude. And so he said, the author argues that Sagan's line is semantically clever, but logically shallow. It has been used, they claim, as a rhetorical club to dismiss ideas rather than evaluate them. Instead of protecting truth, it's become a market slogan for skeptics who act more like salespeople, filtering inconvenient claims rather than genuinely investigating them.
I mean, to be fair, if you're just out there criticizing a theory,
Yes.
sure, I feel like everyone's input's valid, but make sure it's constructive criticism. If you have feedback, if you have insight, try give it a shot. But I don't get the actual criticism of logical semantic truth, logically true.
So the
semantically true.
core reframe. So true ethical skepticism. Any claim that could harm stakeholders, reduce value, or propagate ignorance, no matter how ordinary or accepted, demands extraordinary evidence. And it says skepticism should be a risk management practice, not a marketing slogan. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want to just, some people will be a skeptic, sort of like a biased skeptic, right? Like you're just skeptical of someone because of who they are or how you think they are, or
For example, I guess if you're just skeptical for the sake of being skeptical,
that's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, is there such a thing? Because if you're skeptical because you don't want to just believe anything and you want evidence behind it, I don't think that's wrong.
No, but then there's also like the guy who's just skeptical about everything, and you're just like, dude, like.
But once you prove it, then you're good.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I feel like the pinnacle of skepticism is like, for example, like.
So you're saying you're skeptical about everything?
No, I think you can be. That's the term, healthy skepticism. If you're skeptical, but there is proof.
Yeah.
And you can logically reason it out, then sure, it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
But I feel like the ethical skeptic is probably reading too much into that quote and using that as a good platform to. I mean, it's probably clickbait. I can see why.
I think you're a little upset over here.
No, I can see why people.
Yeah.
For example, like Occam's razor.
Yeah.
I agree to you in the sense that. Some solutions may not always be the simplest, and there may never be a simplest solution. But the whole point of Occam's razor is there just remove any elements that's not related or unnecessary for the theory. That's Occam's razor. It's not trying to say that it has to be a perfect, beautiful, elegant theory of everything. Just like what you talked about, there's some system that doesn't have exact solutions. So I think that this quote by Carl Sagan, any extraordinary claim demands extraordinary evidence. I think it's just honestly a very reasonable claim until,
Till now.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of interesting words, like he says something can be semantically true but not logically true. But what is he talking about? Is he using this to try to equivocation, promoting factfulness?
I mean, is he being the person that he is sort of calling out?
I think he's using so. I see. I see. So I guess he's just using that quote as a hook to get people to interested in this article. But what he's trying to point at is that, for example, this sentence sums it up. Ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs don't cause harm. Rather, rolling out untested technologies or lying to large stakeholders or populations causes harm. This is what demands extraordinary accountability. I think his whole point wasn't that Carl Sagan's quote itself is wrong. It's just that the priority, they don't want people to put their priorities on just extraordinary stuff. They want people to look at accountability of research.
Yeah.
See? What is demands extraordinary accountability? Examples of ordinary, virtuous, and correct claims which should be ethically been supported by extraordinary evidence and were not.
Oh, I missed the tape. I went to go put my elbow down.
Yeah.
Sorry. Interesting. So
No, I mean, looking through it, if I feel like on hindsight, it looks like he's just criticizing Carl Sagan, but I realized that he just wants to prevent people from looking at only amazing stuff, which happens a lot. It's pop science.
You
People
mean
like
like
to,
extraordinary evidence?
yeah.
Right?
People look at extraordinary things instead of ordinary, down to earth research like vaccine research, medication research, or like others like health sciences. People look at black
Phase
holes,
transitions.
phase transitions, or like time travel, multiverse theory. But like they don't look at like things that matter more.
See.
I think that's what he's going for.
Interesting.
I might be wrong. I mean I pretty much just scanned through it, but I mean if that's what he's pointing at, I agree.
Yeah, so it says this is often misused as a conversation stopper rather than an invitation to examine evidence. His statement of extraordinary claims require extraordinary
then
evidence.
then I would say that then if that's what he's saying, it makes sense. Again, I think it's case by case scenario. If you use this phrase to just shut someone down and not really look into it, you're just as wrong.
Yes.
Because I would like someone to prove to me there are ghosts, UFOs, or Bigfoot. I mean, to me, that's
Yeah.
very interesting. But
Yeah, if I were to like, I don't know, how would I say, I don't know, find some interesting thing in my research, right? And I'm trying to tell somebody, oh, this is how it could be used, or check out what I've found.
and someone just shuts you down.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well,
Where's
it's
your
not very
evidence?
extraordinary. Where is your extraordinary evidence?
I mean, I think either way, if you're able to appreciate what people claim as boring part of research, the incremental small steps, the non-big breakthroughs, I think that's the true essence of research. And of
Yeah.
course, you must respect the ethics.
Yeah, and not every finding is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's, well, it may be to the researcher, right?
Yes. No, exactly. I think what he's just going at is that he doesn't want people to only focus on the extraordinary. That's one thing.
Yes.
And he also doesn't want people to use it to shut arguments down.
Yeah.
And he wants people to focus more on the ordinary side of research. But anyway, I feel like we should take this opportunity to get into what interesting research recently have you read up on. Like, for example, just now we talked about the rat research, the brain stuff.
Yes.
Is there any other research that caught your attention that...
So, let's see here. I looked up a bunch of stuff. One of the things that has been, catching my eye recently, which is actually like an old research paper. It was like in the 1994, 1995. Dr. Bishop, the one who just won the Nobel Prize for neural networks, his work in neural networks and machine learning. So he had a paper come out that talked about the necessity for noise in, how would I say, in not data, but it was like, so let's say you have let's say you have a data point, right? And that data point is it's very sharp data point. You know exactly where it's at on a grid, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it talked about using to make that very precise, rigorous dot more vague, right? So
capitalize on the noise, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you think about it, that's how human brains work. When you see an image of a cat, and now I tell you to close your eyes and reimagine the cat, you can't see it 100% clearly, but you get the main features of the cat.
Yes.
And every time you recall a cat,
I thought of the ears and the nose.
yeah. The overall idea
Yeah.
of the cat. AI models don't do that. When you put one picture, it sees that picture, and then it's gone. it's not able to recall the main initial picture. We only need
Yeah.
to see a cat once to know what's a cat. AI models can't do that.
Yeah, and so I'll finish that later. And so, apparently this helps with the model not over. What's the right word?
Overfit.
Overfitting. Yes, exactly. And so that it actually can do better on unseen data, right? Data that is outside of the distribution.
Outside of distribution,
right?
yeah.
Or
Out of
or on
distribution.
the edges of the distribution.
You can interpolate and extrapolate better.
Exactly. So yes, this idea of noise has for some reason just
Stuck to you.
yes, and so the podcast I was listening to this morning was talking about noise and sort of how temperature can be seen as noise. And
Yes.
so in magnets, right? So when, let's say you have a magnetic material, and let's say let's just for instance say it's at 0 Kelvin, right? So that magnetism is going to be extremely prevalent. That is going to be a magnetic material, right? It's yes. But as soon as you start adding temperature or noise, you could say, the magnetization starts to go away, right? And so I don't know. I just thought it was interesting to think of temperature as noise, which I've never thought of before. But yeah. So this thought of noise. I was talking to Dr. Benjabar the other day, and he was talking about how apparently like adding a little extra noise for like I think he was talking about cochlear implants like helps with making sounds a little bit easier to hear certain sounds. And so yeah, so there's a bunch of different, to us, especially podcasters, right? We think of like
Noise.
Noise.
Ambient noise.
yes, as sort of like the bane of our existence, right? But it can, and that's why it's so fascinating to me, is because there's like these situations where noise can be good,
Yes.
and it's not always, and it can be helpful. And so, and
I
that's
feel like
what
that's the beauty of the machine learning and also how the human brain works is that it's one of the few systems that learn to capitalize on noise instead
Yes.
of like avoiding it completely.
that's the podcast I was listening to this
This is
morning.
how
How
AI
AI sees the world.
I
Yes,
see.
yeah, it's a great
I'll watch
podcast.
that later. I'll put that in my watch later.
But
That's cool.
let's see here. I guess we could sort of go back and forth. Is there some research that I know that you specifically wanted to talk about, at the end of this podcast, research that's sort of caught our eye recently. So is there something that's sort of caught your eye?
That is
recently?
a good question because I do have a lot of research that I've put in my bookmark. I need to look into it though. Give me
Okay,
a
nice.
second.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't read a lot of research papers during the semester. For one, because they're really dense. And I feel like, especially during the semester, I need to try to, whenever I do have time, I need to focus on my classes, right? And it's been a while since I've read a research paper. I guess not. It's probably been about a month since I've read a research paper. But this is one of those things where I also go read a research paper. Like they're not as scary as you might think, right? And what's great nowadays is you can put that thing into ChatGPT or Perplexity, go sign up, use the link in the Discord, please. Let's get to 500 so that we can get free Perplexity for a year. But anyways, so what's great about AI is you can put that paper in and then you can just like say, hey, can you give me like the skinny on this? Can you just tell
skinny
me
on this.
like what's the meat and potato? What is the main takeaway behind this? And then you can say, okay, well, maybe there's some ideas in there that you aren't really familiar with. So you can say, well, and I love using this because this seems to be a very good word to use when trying to understand things with ChatGPT, is can you tell me the intuition I should have for this idea? Like what is, how should I really be thinking about this? And how can I sort of take that idea forward? And how does it relate to the things in my life right now? Or, so yeah, in my life, so the studies or research or whatever it is you're doing. And so yeah, I didn't start reading research papers until I got into research, and there's so many research papers, and you can get bombarded and bogged down by just the sheer number of them, and it can be a little, it can be a little scary, and you may end up not reading a few because you're like, okay, this is a little too deep for me. But at the same time, like I think you should, how would I say? You should try. And so what I do, I trick my brain into thinking that I'm smarter than I really am.
I think that's an interesting way of
So
putting it.
I will read things that are like far above my head because there may be something in there that does stick. And also at the same time, like I just want to expose myself to as many different ideas as I can. And sometimes, maybe that idea doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you in the beginning. But once you start reading more about it, and then you read, more things out there, so research papers or books or textbooks or articles online, or you watch a YouTube video, sometimes these ideas start to sort of form in your head, and you're like, oh, snap, I finally get it now. And so, yes, you're going to read some papers that you just like, what is going on? But at the same time, it's sort of like you're priming your brain to be able to eventually catch on to what those big ideas are about. Because if you don't, I mean, I don't, for me, I'm on the pursuit of knowledge, right?
Yes.
Or really the pursuit of happiness, right? What are
Pursuit of
the
happiness.
pursuit of happiness? And for me,
Very American.
happiness is knowledge. Like I love learning new things. I love being able to then use that new knowledge and go forth, go hither, go. And so yeah. Are you all right over here?
Yeah,
You're
I'm just
about to have
looking
an
for all the
aneurysm,
different.
or?
I'm just looking for all the different articles that
Okay.
I was looking at. But yes, I was still listening. I'm still listening.
Okay.
The variability.
Yeah. So I guess I could talk about another. So
But yes, I do agree. I feel like the way I do it is just read whatever you find interesting, and dive in. Just don't be afraid and don't be intimidated. Yes, there are some articles that just full of jargon that you just never understand. But hey, that's how we learn new words in the first place. Don't be afraid to dive into that rabbit hole.
yeah.
That Wikipedia rabbit hole. Like what's similar to that is if you open a article, just start searching up whatever words you do not understand, just whatever article you find interesting in any topic at all, just look into it. Whatever words you find interesting, dive into it, dive
Yeah.
into it, dive into it.
That's what's beautiful about the human mind is you can learn shit, dude.
Oh yeah,
And
you can learn more than you think.
all it takes is a little bit of time. And yes, sometimes you'd much rather spend that time, gaming, hanging out with
Which
your
is fun too.
girlfriend, hanging out with your family, watching funny YouTube videos or whatever. And so knowledge to me is sort of one of these, I forget exactly what they call it, but to me, the way that I can explain it right now is it's sort of a long feedback loop, right? You don't get a lot of like dopamine hits, but once you do get that dopamine hit from learning something new, it's one of the most rewarding dopamine hits I think I have in my life. And so yeah, yeah, go learn some shit.
Agree.
So let's see here. Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is like there is so many niche research papers, right? I was looking up research papers that are just in related to noise in machine learning. And ChatGPT gave me like, what was it? 8 of them. And that doesn't even scratch the surface. So yeah, there's a lot out there, and there's very niche things out there as well. And it's like once you find out that there's other people, you know, not just reading about these very niche things, but also doing the research in these very niche areas. Like, I don't know, there's like a camaraderie you get with those people that's just so interesting to me. It's like, oh my gosh, like you're a nerd too. Heck
Yes,
yeah.
finally, another one of us.
Jeez.
But yeah, I guess one of the simpler, okay, the simpler is subjective because one of the more straightforward models that paper that I found recently that is
Yeah,
very
don't
interesting.
dumb it down for us, dude. Give us.
Give you, I mean, no, to me it is the more straightforward paper.
Okay.
So I'll start off with that, and it's published on June 26, 2025, very recent. And the paper is by Alexander Floroni and colleagues. And the title is Membraneless Protocell Confined by Heat Flow. And I find this very interesting because also, like I said, whatever article you're interested, just look into it. You don't have to confine yourself to one field. Whatever field you find interesting, biology, technology, machine learning, whatever, just do it. Just read into it. Because sometimes those knowledge do carry over to each other, and it's very helpful. So yes, this paper basically just says that complex mixture of biomolecules could assemble just from convection currents and temperature of a fluid. So we call it thermophoresis. And thermophoresis, if you're a biology student or material science student, you will know that, for example, polymers. Some polymers are more thermophilic and some are more thermophobic. So some move away from heat, some move towards heat. And depending on what temperature it is, some polymers would crunch up and some polymers would extend. So the same way, they found that in living cells, most of what we think as complex chemistry happens between cell membranes. But what this article found that just in a fluid with temperature gradients on two sides, one with, let's say, one with 40 Celsius and one with 27 Celsius, and you have a fluid of diluted molecules. Due to thermophoresis and also convection, there'll be a up concentration of these biomolecules to one corner or one area, causing it to react and creating a cell-like reaction without a cell membrane at all. And that's interesting because if you guys didn't know, there's something called viroids. Viroids are viral DNA loops that act like viruses that infect plants and fungi, but does not, I don't know if it affects fungi, but I know it affects plants, like spindle tuber disease or something, or apple scarskin disease. These are viroids. They are just loops of DNA that have virus-like behaviors, but they don't have a cell membrane or a protein coat like a virus. So it makes it very interesting because it makes you question, does the origin of life really depend on the cell membrane? Or could the origin of life already work without a cell membrane, and the cell membrane is sort of something that came later that make things more efficient?
Interesting.
Does life have to form with a cell membrane? What if life formed without a cell membrane and the cell membrane came later and just packaged it up and allowed it to replicate more efficiently?
Yes.
For example, we know there are cells that have multiple nuclei, or just cells with one nuclei, or cells with no nuclei. So I just find it very fascinating because it makes you rethink how the origin of life came to be. The RNA world hypothesis or whatever. So
yeah, this gets into like a topic that I love, which is like, what is the definition of life?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What would be your definition of
My
life?
definition?
Yeah.
I think my definition would be replicability, heredity, like it can inherit information or traits. It can replicate, obviously, and also its ability to. I think, and also like grow and respond to stimuli. I think these three are the most fundamental.
Interesting. If I were to think off the top of my head, what is life? Like and it's interesting because I think there's like depending on the discipline, there's like different definitions. Like a physicist would probably say something than a biologist,
Like
and a
resist entropy.
chemist would say something different. That would be to me that would be an interesting one. It's like what are the different definitions
Of life.
of life?
And probably to some people it'll be like, oh, the thing must be sentient, or to some it's like, yeah, that's the classic biology traits.
Yeah. So for a biological, scientific and biological definitions, in biology, life is often described descriptively by listing key characteristics that living organisms generally exhibit. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a Yeah, 7 things. So homeostasis, which is the regular regulation of the internal environment to maintain stability. Organization, composed of one or more cells, which are the basic units of life. Metabolism, transformation of energy to sustain cellular processes. Growth, increase in size and structure. Adaptation, evolution, and adjustment to environmental changes. Response to stimuli, reaction to changes in the environment, and then reproduction, like what you said, the ability to produce new individuals.
That's what you learn in biology 101.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and so I mean,
That's a textbook
big
definition. Yeah.
yeah.
That
I
feel
was
like we
expecting
would've-
like a one-liner.
no.
Like life is the thing that pushes hither. Like life is the
I mean,
Yeah.
physicists would probably define it as a system that can resist internal entropy.
Yeah, let's see. I wanted to see what else they were saying here. Philosophical and broader definitions. NASA proposes
Life-sustaining chemical reaction.
life is a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution.
Pretty solid.
Okay.
I mean, okay. This is where I like to be devil's advocate, right? If that is true, Darwinian evolution and whatnot, right? Does that include, for example, let's say we have not organism, but a civilization just run by machines. They consume because they need energy, but they don't evolve the way we do. They do improve themselves incrementally because of technological innovation, but they don't go through Darwinian.
Yes.
But some people would argue they do though.
Yeah.
Because you have a better trait, then outdated models would that trait would be gone.
Yes. So I love this because I don't know why I do this, but it seems like every time we've talked, I've like brought up some show where
Yes.
I love pop culture references.
Pop culture's good.
Right? And so my pop culture reference for the day is Alien Earth.
Oh,
So fantastic show. I think we're like 3 episodes in.
oh, this one.
Oh my gosh. And so it's based off of the Alien movies, right? So Alien versus Predator, that crazy alien with like the metallic teeth. Yeah, xenomorph. So this show is essentially, well, yeah, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's a great premise. So these researchers who are basically going around the universe and collecting specimens, right? And so this ship is heading back home to Earth after they've collected all these specimens, right? And while they're on their way home, the alien gets out of his cage.
Oh yeah.
And so, of course, like how every alien movie goes, it eventually, you know, well, you know what happens.
Yep.
And then, so then this ship is on a crash course with Earth, and it lands on Earth. And so there's these, so at the beginning of the show, they talk about how like there's like four companies that like sort of run the world, right? And they're companies that essentially create different life forms. So there's like the synths, there's
Yeah,
the
cybernetically enhanced humans.
yeah,
the
then there's
cyborgs,
these
hybrids.
there's hybrids, and then there's like three or four different ones I think.
Yeah.
But there's this sort of like a kid genius who creates these, I guess they're synthetic body. They look like real humans, right? But what you can do is you can map someone's consciousness
Onto that body.
onto that body, right?
Interesting.
And so I don't know where I was getting at here, but and so there's oh wow. And so the one of the women, or really girls, she ends up
she's
getting
the
her
first.
consciousness put in this body.
Wendy.
Yes, yes, Wendy. And she starts to like ask questions like, so what am I if I'm not human? And, you know, so it just brings up this question of like, what is life? And what does it mean to be human? Or what does it mean to
Right,
be a
right.
biological being?
So does life have to be biological? Is my point. Does it have to be organic? If let's say civilization ended, let's just assume that there's only machines and AI left, and the AIs continue building civilization. They started replicating. They replicate, right?
Yeah.
They can go through Darwinian evolution because they can incrementally improve themselves by building better bodies and whatnot and upgrades. They also consume energy. They resist entropy because they repair themselves and
Yes.
whatnot. And they grow in numbers and size. And they're intelligent. Are they live?
Yeah. I mean, to me, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think to me, I'm like, okay, shit, yeah. Welcome to our world, I guess.
Yes.
They literally say hello world. You know, they can literally say hello world because they literally came to the world too.
Yes. Yeah. So the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, their definition often takes the form of a list of characteristics associated with living systems.
Yes, I would assume that's the first list that we have.
Interesting. Let's see here. Oh, I wanted to go down and see what physics. So let's see here. Key physics themes. Actually, let's just read this. From a physics perspective, life is often described as a thermodynamic system that maintains a low entropy, highly ordered state by dissipating energy from its environment. Physicists like Adrian Bijan define a living system as one that flows and morphs freely in order to persist in time, emphasizing that living things are driven by energy flows and exhibit dynamic adaptive organization. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, that is what I was thinking a physics definition of life would be.
That is very physics-like.
Yeah.
And that's why I like talking about random research papers. It can bring up side topics that's very interesting.
Yeah. No. So here we go. Gladichev frames life as a phenomenon arising in gravitationally bound atomic systems in the presence of the inflow of energy, highlighting that the essence of life can be understood through the laws of physics and thermodynamics without reference to biological systems.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love that. Chemistry, of course. Carbon-based organic. So focuses on molecular basis of life, emphasizing carbon-based organic molecules and their interactions. That makes sense to me for chemistry. Yeah.
But okay, I personally am on a different bandwagon because you know how like we are carbon based, and a lot of people be like carbon and water. the backbones of life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like ammonia could do the same thing
Ooh.
because ammonia is polar.
Yes.
It can dissolve a lot of materials, a lot of substances, although it's at a very cold temperature. Let's just make a hypothetical here. If there are life that can use ammonia, that is based off of ammonia, let's say on a very cold planet, does that to them are we fire beings?
Fire beings?
Because the moment they come into our temperature, they reach a flash point and they start evaporating and boiling violently, you know. But for us, if we go into their world, we freeze. So we are fire beings to them.
Fire beings, and they're
ice giants to us, you know. Jotunheim type thing, you know.
That's hilarious. So could life be based on ammonia? The possibility of ammonia-based life, organisms that use liquid ammonia as their primary solvent instead of water, has been actively debated by astrobiologists and chemists for decades.
I wonder, like, this sounds so cruel. Astrobiologist.
Dude, I was thinking the exact same thing. That's hilarious.
What's your career? Astrobiologist.
Yeah, that is such a dope word. So let's see here. And so, yeah, maybe let's just sort of highlight the reasons why you have that train of thought there. So chemical similarities to water. Ammonia, like water, is a polar solvent that dissolves many organic molecules and can participate in hydrogen bonding, facilitating complex biochemistry. And then we have a molecular analogous. Many organic compounds that rely on water, so alcohols, acids, have analogs in ammonia-based chemistry.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and so also ammonia is widespread in the cosmos, making it plausible that environments with liquid ammonia exist, especially in cold gas giant moons or distant planets. Dude,
That's
I bet.
what I've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical for silicon-based life, though, but
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very optimistic about ammonia.
Yeah, they'd have to be anywhere between. Oh, so wow.
Very cold, though.
Ammonia melts at negative 78 degrees Celsius and boils at negative 33 degrees Celsius. Wow.
So yeah, they have to be in a very chilly. So that's what I mean. To them, are we burning fire beings?
Yeah.
And
Just getting close to them, they may just melt.
yeah. The high five would be fatal for both of us.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So
They are poisonous to us. And here's the thing: we are probably poisonous to them. Oxygen does not react well with ammonia.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting.
Huh. You said oxygen doesn't react well with ammonia.
'Cause
So we wouldn't
light
even
them
be
on
able
fire,
to.
they'll blow up.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be able to coexist then.
Well,
is what
like-
you're saying.
Both of us wearing spacesuits. Handshake.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Let's see here. Let's read the astrobiology definition of life.
Oh.
So astrobiology seeks to definitions that are broad enough to encompass potential extraterrestrial life forms. Makes sense, right? We can't forget about the aliens, dude. NASA's working definition: a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. Oh, that was
I like that definition of life though, the LYFE instead of LIF.
Yeah, why would you define? Is widely cited but acknowledged as Earth-centric. Earth-centric. That's hilarious. It's like
Geocentric.
it's like or anthropomorphic.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean it makes sense though.
Yeah. I know. No. I'm fine. Is that
sense.
yeah? I mean, whatever.
Dissipation.
Some researchers propose a more universal concept: life, LYFE, defined by 4 processes: dissipation, autocatalysis, homeostasis, and learning. Oh, that's an interesting one. And learning, huh?
I think adaptation would be a right word.
And learning, huh? That's a interesting one because we don't think of like
Life as learning. Well,
because like for instance
bacteria doesn't
animals.
learn. Well, bacteria can learn actually.
Dogs can learn.
Bacteria can learn.
I'm trying to think of like ants. Do they learn or is
Oh yeah.
or are they
Oh yeah.
or is everything
there's a-
just
Okay, that's one of the papers I'm gonna get into. So there's a paper that found that ants can hold grudges.
what?
Studies suggest, yeah, I found it. Studies suggest that ants can hold grudges.
Dude, I wonder if there's an ant out there that has a grudge against me.
Oh, it's probably dead though. Their lifespan's not long enough to hold a grudge that long. But
That's hilarious.
so yes,
dude.
they are more likely to open their mandibles and bite or spray acid to kill their competitors. They are less likely to carry out such aggressive maneuvers against nests that are further away from their own. Until now, we don't know why it's the case, but they found that when one group of ants encountered their own nest, wait, what? From their own nest, a second group of ants encountered aggressive rival. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and they are able to distinguish. They can distinguish different groups of ants, even if they're similar or the same species. And in the first phase, they distinguish between encounters that are aggressive or passive. Then they ensure that the ant is well behaved passively by cutting off its antennae. And what the interesting. Yeah, so it says we often believe that insects function like pre-programmed robots, but our study proves that there's new evidence on the contrary. Ants also learn from their experiences and can hold grudges.
That is nuts. So I was looking at what other things can hold grudges. I just think that's a funny premise. So elephants, the legendary grudge holders. So they can remember and recognize individuals, human or elephant, who have harmed them. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's just I've never really thought of them like, I don't know. I guess I just don't think of like, and maybe that's like me anthropomorphizing.
Yes. I'm more of a transhumanist when it comes to my philosophy of what is humanity. Transhumanism basically just means that our definition of human can change. And we see that. Animals are now part of companionship and our families, our kinship circles are increasing. We start to acknowledge that there are animals that are smart and are truly intelligent and sentient. So I feel like the idea of humanism is not fixed. It change. Like, here's a thought experiment. Let's say there's an alien civilization.
Yep.
They come to Earth. We are their aliens. They are the humans.
Well, are they the humans or are they
whatever
call
they call
themselves?
humans. You get what I mean?
You think they would call themselves humans?
Not the word human,
Okay,
but
but something
their equivalent of
Jason to
their mankind, their version of mankind, their
Yeah.
version of humankind.
Yeah.
And they to them we are the aliens.
Yes. Yeah.
You see what I mean? So who's right?
I don't know.
Technically, we're both right.
None of us are right.
Or none of us are right. Well, that goes like semantic like vagueness. But
Yeah. You can get down
the
in the
rabbit hole.
definitions,
Linguistics and stuff.
Yeah.
This is very interesting though.
Yeah, my man, maybe we should have my girlfriend on. She's has her master's in rhetoric.
Ooh, yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Science of language and rhetoric.
Yeah, I've wanted to like sort of have her help in building like an LLM because I think knowing language may help with that, right? Especially like making something that can write better, right?
Oh, actually, a thought just came into my head. Remember the ammonia-based life that I just talked about?
Yes.
Since they live in naturally cold temperatures, and let's assume they live in naturally high pressures, right? Now, what if, to us, superconductors are so hard to achieve because we're always looking for the room temperature superconductor. But to them, it's probably near room temperature already.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't need to go that far. They probably have superconductors that are very easy. But starting fire probably isn't as easy for them.
Yeah, and that leads me to another paper I was looking at earlier that talked about like a new way to 3D print, which was helping superconductors, like being able to produce 3D printed porous superconductors.
Oh.
From Cornell University, a novel 3D printed ink technique that yields porous crystalline superconductors with record-breaking surface areas, promising dramatic gains in quantum computing and superconductivity efficiency. Interesting. Let's see if I can. Let's see here. Can you explain this further? Because that's pretty wild. And so, so 3D printed ink techniques. So is it like the type of ink that they're using? Let's see here. What ink are they using? Tell me, please. What are they using? Probably some crazy expensive. I would love to know what's like the best 3D printer in the world right now. What exactly what is like the coolest thing that we can print right now?
So here's the interesting thing.
Can we print like a full robot?
So most of the 3D printers we know is polymer 3D printers. So either you use resin and use UV to cure it. You know the UV, the volumetric, like the volume 3D printers, where you print the entire volume at once using UV. Okay. And then there's another type which uses normal polymer printing, the one that we use. But there's also metal 3D printers.
Copolymers is what they use in this.
Yeah. So they are metal 3D printers and ceramic 3D printers.
Interesting. Would it be really cool?
And bioprinters.
Because, I think of like a bioprinter. That would be so cool. But so I'm thinking
ears and bones. So
really,
yeah. But they print skin grafts.
Yeah.
They print meat. They print bone
Yeah,
grafts.
I've heard of meat. Yeah.
They print ears.
So I was just thinking, and this is definitely a Jupiter brain thought, right? Yep. Whoop. Yeah. So, I'm thinking of like what do you call it? An assembly line, right? But instead of like an assembly line, you just have like a 3D printer that can do everything, right? So,
print and assemble.
Like, let's think of like a robot, right? Like, what if it could print also like all the inner components and things like that, like while it's going through, like so easily change between like the outer shell of the robot and then start to then like make its brain or like the circuits that go up throughout the body. Yeah.
Or you can print and then assemble them.
Yeah, of course.
But if you print them all at the same time, I see what you're going.
But yeah, what if you just go from head to tail and just
straight up.
Yeah, at the end of it have a full working robot. I think that'd be dope.
That'd be very dope.
I mean, I don't know how exactly you would do that, right?
It would be a very
intricate,
and the engineering behind it would be very complicated. I would think.
Yes, yeah, because how do you go from like, I don't know. Well, I mean, like you could. I know this right now. Matt was telling me the other day. Shout out to Matt. He's gonna help us with 3D printing some things so that we can hand out. That, yeah. Anyways, and so apparently you can basically like if you're printing one color, you can then you go onto another layer. You can change the color, and then so each layer can be different colors. So why couldn't you just like
do different materials?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I guess when you're trying to get like to the very, intricate innards of like, let's say like computer parts and stuff like that, it's like transistors and things, or maybe it could just like build the sort of the surface, like let's say like a motherboard, and then another hand comes in and just starts putting things onto the motherboard or something like that.
Sort of, it's a very cooler version of assembly line.
Yeah,
I feel like the main issue I would think is material compatibility, because if you're printing different materials, right? For example, the same reason why most bone and hip implants need to be replaced every few years is because bone glue and the bone it's a real thing, so that's what holds the implants together. So bones and the implants are not made from the same material, so they wear down in different rates and they can handle different strengths. And that's why which gets into another one of my papers that I'm very interested in. is what is it called? Oh no, I forgot the name.
Uh-oh.
MIT. 3D printed porous.
I'm really interested in what kind of glue they use for bone glue. Like, do they just use Gorilla Glue or Crazy Glue or let's see here. Polymethylmethacrylate is not a glue in the conventional sense. It is a grouting agent used to anchor metal or plastic prosthetic implants, like a artificial knee or hips, to the patient's bones, not to glue bone to bone or to reattach natural bone fragments. Okay. Limitation. PMMAs does not chemically bond with the bone. It fills gaps and mechanically interlocks with bone structure for stability. Oh, okay, okay.
And that's the best part, or the worst part, I guess, is that because the implant, the bone glue, and the bone itself
Yeah.
has different characteristics and properties, it'll break, wear down faster. But what I still can't find the exact paper yet, but there is a university that was able to print out a artificial bone
Yeah.
that is porous on the inside in a similar way to real bone.
Wow, okay.
So what happens is
So you can stick some bone marrow up in there.
that's where it gets interesting. When you
Okay.
put the bone together and you bind them, right? Over time, the osteoblasts, which is the bone cells, they will move into the porous part of that implant, and they start building and merging, so that those two materials, like the bone and the implant, stays.
Oh, wow.
So now the prosthetic will now be one with the
Okay.
body.
So your body starts to form
Yeah. So
to
you
it.
don't need you don't need bone glue.
Wow. That's insane.
So the bone will start naturally growing into the
I
artificial.
wonder
bone.
how long you gotta stay there for that to
No,
like...
so they will be at first there'll be an artificial sort
Yeah.
of like a brace, metal
Okay.
brace that holds
Yeah.
it together.
Okay, yeah,
It's just
yeah, that
after a
makes
while,
sense.
once you remove the brace, it's permanent.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, because, metal in the body is not good.
Yes.
And so I know that's like a whole field.
Of study, yes.
Yeah, and looking into like better transplants, right? Like the knee transplants and stuff, better metals and materials to use in those sort of situations. What was I gonna say just a second ago that I thought was so hilarious?
Lost the train of thought.
Yes. Bone glue. Dang it. I don't know. Anyways, so that was so you couldn't find the paper that you were looking for?
Not the exact one. I know I had it in my phone, but I have 99 tabs. I don't want to go through all of them. So
99
Well, I'll show that.
tabs.
I'll show that next time. But I guess the final paper that I want to talk about is technically two different papers. But basically, there is one paper by Rohit Singh and colleagues.
Okay.
It's called Learning the Language of Antibody Hypervariability. And basically, hypervariability is a characteristic of antibodies, because our antibodies are so diverse. It can basically capture every protein that exists in nature. So that's why our body will always have one antibody that works for any pathogen. So, including healthy, like foreign bodies, which is why allergies exist.
Yeah.
But basically, they use machine learning to be able to
Hey.
protein language models to learn how that hypervariability works and how that structure, how subtle changes in amino acid structure
Yes.
could change the entire antibody, the clamping site.
Yeah.
That's the hypervariable part.
Yeah, if anybody wants to help me build a large language model for material science, hit me up, please. I don't have a ton of time, but I have enough time that working with someone else, I think we could move the whole goalposts
Yes.
further. And I just think this is, I mean, a lot, I talked about it earlier, LLMs can sort of get a bad rap, but I think we're not done exploring them. That's
Yes.
for sure. Now, John, LeCun, yeah, what's his first name? Jacques LeCun, I think. John LeCun.
What? Huh? Which one?
LeCun? You've
Jan
heard of
LeCun?
LeCun?
Yeah, Jan LeCun.
Jan LeCun.
Yeah.
He is on the, well, to preface, he is very knowledgeable in all things machine learning and AI. And so I'm not dismissing his thoughts and why he thinks LLMs are not the future. But I do think there's still a lot of room to grow and a lot of ways that they can be useful at the time being, right? Now, yes, they're very computationally intensive. You need, a lot of computation, you need a lot of memory, you need a lot of resources to build these things. But there's research papers now that are coming out that are making smaller and smaller models with
That are comparable in reasoning and capabilities. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Nano Banana that I was telling you about, I think last week,
Yeah.
is Google's new sort of AI image generator, and it's really good. And from what I've heard, I haven't been able to read up on it, but I've heard it's like one of the smallest models ever
For image
for
generation.
image generation,
Wow, that's crazy.
and it's come up with some good images. I think I sent you an image from it, and it not only generated a video,
Even the audio.
but even audio. Yeah.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's the multimodality behind such a small model.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So anyways, if you're interested in machine learning, interested in LLM, interested in, you don't even have to be interested in material science, but yeah, if you want to work on that, hit me up. I need somebody to help me out here. Yeah.
Yes, and I feel like the most interesting part is Jan LeCun, Fei Li, and a lot of other, I guess, the founding fathers and mothers of AI.
Yes.
They all say that language models the big first step, right, for reasoning.
Yes.
But a lot of them think that the core proponent of future of reasoning is spatial intelligence. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes.
Especially Fei Li, she really is a big pusher of the idea that spatial intelligence is the next step of reasoning. What are your thoughts?
So to me, at first sight, it makes sense that you would need to touch and feel the world in order to understand it, right? But there are now ways of sort of getting around that, right? So NVIDIA is creating like real world simulations where robots can basically go into a world,
Omniverse?
a virtual world,
Yeah, Omniverse.
right? And experience all of the physics in the world, but in a virtual environment. And then they take this data and then train robots in it. And these robots are then go into the real world and work and do the things that they learned in the virtual world. So I don't know.
That's still spatial intelligence, right?
Is
still,
it?
Oh yeah, because the difference is one is in silico, one is
Okay.
in reality. Like, so the
Well, no, it's still in silico. I mean,
it is in silico, but it's still spatial intelligence because in the view of the AI,
Yes.
it has a body, it's learning the physics, it's learning the relationship between coordinates, how it falls. You get what I mean?
Yes, but it's not actually touching and feeling the real world. It is touching a virtual world that sort of holds the same physics as the real world.
Which is still spatial intelligence.
I get what you're saying, but
They still get spatial. They still learn the idea of spatial
Yeah.
awareness, relative position,
Yeah, I guess-
speed,
yeah,
and
I see what you're saying.
velocity,
So-
momentum, weight. To the AI, it might as well be the real world. It's like the Matrix.
so there's another thought, right? Or I don't know. Anyways, so there's an idea that, well, what if we just allow in some way, I don't think anybody's come up with this yet. Maybe there's probably there's a research paper out there about it, that what if we just change the way or modify the way that these machines think?
Yep.
So what if we can get them to think visually about things, right? Sort of
Yes.
like what we do.
So wouldn't that be more feature engineering?
I don't know.
Because you know how about a feature space and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the same way some people are more auditory, more kinesthetic. and
Explain the
stuff.
feature space.
So feature space basically is a representation space
Yeah.
of key elements of a specific let's say data set. So for example, you have a lot of images of dogs, and the key feature space for the part of the neural network to recognize a dog, it would probably be the ears, the snout, the tail, the shape, how it's on four legs, the
Yeah.
paws.
So really, it's just looking at like sort of pixels, isn't that
The
like
features.
Yeah.
The features. Only the features. So let's say that's why they found that you can have a
so sort of the outlines? Is that what we're saying?
yes and no. So if you've seen there's a few studies that compare the same amount of parameters, but they do it with width and depth.
Yeah.
So the more deep a neural network is, the more features, the more complex the features they can recognize. So the earlier neurons on the more surface near the input, they capture more simpler features like straight lines, curves, circles, whatever.
That's why the scalability hypothesis keeps going, because
Yes.
we just keep making these big things wider and deeper, and it just
Yes, but parametrically inefficient once you scale to a certain extent. But we'll get that in later. But basically, the deeper you go, these features start combining. So initially you get lines, right? Horizontal and vertical lines, diagonal lines. But deeper into the network, you start getting corners. Corners with different orientations, or even the triangle, squares, edges, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, that's what a feature space is. If you know how to engineer how the feature space flows, right, you can change how the model thinks. So think of it like this. Prompt engineering is you're engineering how to make an input more efficient. Feature engineering is your tinkering with the thinking process itself. That's why you know how in fine-tuning, there are different fine-tuning techniques. Like
Well, and then just to preface also, like, so models, so the chain of thought has just sort of arisen as a feature of the model. It's not something they trained it on. So they didn't, from what I can understand,
it emerged.
it's an emergent feature.
Yes.
There we go. So we didn't teach these things to think. They just sort of think on their own.
Yes, these feature spaces developed on their own. We did not put it in there. But feature engineering is when people start learning how to modify and guide how these emergent properties grow. And for example, do you know like you know idea of overfitting, underfitting, right?
Yeah, you overfit a curve too much, then the model can't, can't predict things outside of its probability distribution.
Yes.
And then underfitting is then where you can't. So basically, you have like and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have like a bunch of, for instance, you have a 2D plane, right? X and Y.
And you have a distribution.
Let's say you have a bunch of data sets, right? And you can just put a straight linear line through it.
So the best fit line.
Or you can
Draw a curve through it,
trying to get as much of the data, or basically as much of the, have a line that goes through as much of the data points as you can, reducing the amount of error between the line and the data points for each data point, right? And so you can make this as close as possible. You can make it to where that line goes from exactly one data point to the next, and to the next, and to the next, and exactly going straight to it. Or you can draw sort of a curved line through it to get sort of the kind of like you said, the best fit line.
Yes. So the problem with having a very deep and big model is where overfitting comes in. You will start having the models to create a distribution of the graph to every exact point because the model's so large and there's only so much you can feed it.
So underfitting would probably be just a straight line,
straight
right?
line through a random distribution.
Yeah, and
So-
overfitting is trying to get all those data points.
Yeah, exactly, all the data points. And basically, if you overfit, you're basically memorizing. If you try to do anything outside of distribution or out of distribution, it can't solve it. But
And so, sorry, I think there's a lot of terms like we've used this out of distribution a lot, and I don't think we've really explained it. And if you haven't taken a probabilities class, you probably don't know what we're talking about. So,
True.
for
My bad.
a certain observation, right, you have a probability that observation is going to happen, right? And so so you have this like bell curve, right? And in the middle is the highest probability.
The mode.
Yeah, what would you say though? It's like the point at which that thing has the highest probability. And so the further you go away from that is the less probability, right? So
The peak.
yes, exactly. So when we say it's in the
Distribution.
the probability distribution, it's it's underneath that curve.
It's in that bell.
Yes, exactly. So out of the distribution would be outside of that curve.
Or in the case of scatter plots, if you have a lot of scatter plots and you have a best fit, like a line that goes through a lot of them to try to approximate the solution, if there are points that are outliers, it doesn't know how to address it. That's also out of distribution.
Yes.
So that's where it starts extrapolating or interpolating. But when something is very large, a model that's too large but for a relatively small data set, it will overfit. So or it has too much. Using this, if you reuse the same data set for too many times, it'll overfit. And the way you can prevent this is called dropout. So you deactivate a certain chunk of neurons.
It's sort of a way to add noise.
Yes and no. So adding noise is actually one of the ways to prevent overfitting.
Yeah.
But dropout.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So this is part of regularization. So dropout is when you turn off a certain part of the neurons and you retrain it. And that way you prevent over reliance of a specific area and of the neural network, and also prevents over reliance of certain features as well. So you're sort of just telling it to be more parametrically efficient. What we mean by that is you use all your parameters to its fullest. We don't want it to over rely on some parts and neglect some other parts.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's other methods in trying to do this, right? Trying to really to get the highest probability output, right? And so there is, let's see here. So I've heard of like inputting noise into the Gaussians.
Yes.
Dropout, like what you said. There's weight noise, so adding noise to the actual weights.
Weights and biases.
And so the weights are essentially, so you have a neuron, right? And so there's weights and biases that go along with this neuron, and it's sort of the information that it holds.
That encodes.
Yes.
So another interesting thing that you probably hear of is DeepSeek. The reason why DeepSeek is such a big deal is because for such a small model, it really performs so well compared to large language models that cost billions. And the main reason is because they use mixture of experts. Mixtures of experts basically is a neural network that leaves only a specific neural pathway for specific topics, let's say physics, biology, chemistry. So they turn off every other part of the neural network and only train that pathway for that language or that topic. Yeah. So now you have multiple expert pathways that knows that topic so well. That's why it's called parametrically efficient, because it's very less parameters, but they utilize everything so well.
Yes. I mean, that's
a good example of dropout too.
Yes, I mean, this to me is like one of the most interesting things about these AI models, right, is that these things are trained allegedly, right, on like billions of parameters, and allegedly they're trained on like all of the internet, right? That's sort of what we're told, right? And yet so I don't know if you yourself were trained on everything on the internet, you think that you would be able to.
You be a genius,
Yes, exactly.
but apparently not.
Yes, exactly. There are still situations where there's hallucinations, which sort of like, from what I heard recently, is hallucinations actually occur because of sort of if it's trying to answer in a long form, right? So the longer, yeah. So this is what Jan LeCun says, right? Is so essentially what LLMs are doing is predicting the next word, right? And so let's say the model is about to spit out like, I don't know, let's say like 2 pages of information for you, right? Based on your question. Well, the errors pile up with each token that's generated. So
So it compounds over time.
yeah, so exactly. That's why you get hallucinations that happen further down that chain of information, right?
But the odd thing is, they found that the what's it called, the hallucinations and errors happens more of in the middle. The beginning and the end doesn't happen.
Oh, well, that's the same with us.
Humans.
Well, so like, for instance, whenever they say like when you read a book, right?
You remember the beginning and the end, but
Yes.
not the middle is the more gray area.
Yeah.
That's similar to what happens. But also one more thing that's interesting is when you have multimodality and you train it on multimodality, they just somehow reason better,
Yeah.
and it makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And even if you teach it in multiple languages, it also reasons better.
Ooh, so, what was he saying?
The crossover learning.
Yeah, I heard something about this the other day. I was watching the Claude team was interviewed, and they were talking about this, and they talked about like how once you train it on multiple languages, right? That, what is it? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget this. But essentially, if I can remember right, is the more languages it knew that, I don't know. I can't remember it. But there is like interesting things that come that happen because of you teaching it multiple languages. And yeah, there's like all these like little nuances to the training, and depending on like how you train, what you train,
Yes.
and it just, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, yeah, there's still a lot of things to, research out there. There's, I'm sure, there's things I think of all the time that I'm like, man, I wish I had the time, because I would love to spend more time with AI and doing research into just like the subtle changes in the whole pipeline, right? And so you can think of the pipeline as literally like the, I don't know, I guess you think of like the code, or like what happens. Yeah, because like, you describe a pipeline. The pipeline of like a model.
Oh, sorry. I was
fine.
I was slowly zoning out because I had a thought of another thing because we're talking about languages, but
Yeah.
I'll get into that later. So what were you asking? Pipeline of a model?
Of a model. It's sort of like I don't want to say just the code, but it's like
No.
sort
So-
of like what it consists of, right? So like, for instance, there's a transformer, but the transformer is tacked onto like a natural language processor, right? Is that
Yeah. Well, it depends what you're talking about, because the ML pipeline that I would think of when you say pipeline is like the workflow of the AI.
okay? Yes.
So like how you make the AI, like, so for example, like the input, the processing of the input, and then after that, what was it again?
The output? I don't know. The
No, no,
input,
no, no. They
the
have a lot of
transformer.
steps.
There's the oh well. There's like vectorization of the things. There's I mean well that's what the transformer does. Is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
essentially
I did not memorize it to the T, but basically
condenses the data.
yeah. So pre-processing of raw data, collection of raw data, train the model, deploy it. But the training includes what we said, regularization, dropout to prevent overfitting,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all that.
Sorry, I was just
Feature
trying to
engineering.
explain the pipeline for maybe
Yes,
people
yes.
who don't
But yeah,
understand. But
a lot. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But
yeah, and so yeah, there's this. I don't know if it's actually a term, but it would make sense like pipeline engineering, right? So, and seeing like what the differences are, and you know, you could easily you can download data sets on Kaggle. There's all types of resources online to be able to download certain data sets, like for instance the Iris data set, which is a famous data set that was used in a classification model, right? And so irises are like the different type. There's like they're like flowers, and so there's like 3 different species. I don't know if there's only 3 different species, but that's what they were looking at: Setosa, Virginica, and one other one, right? And so they were trying to classify the species type depending on the different parameters of the flower, right? So
Yes.
they looked at like the sepule, the
the
stigma,
number of
or whatever.
petals.
Yeah, the number.
Yes.
Yeah, and through this, they were able to classify within a high probability, depending on a unseen data, what exact species that flower was based off the data.
I mean, the classical way you would learn in biology class and botany class is something called a dichotomous key,
Okay, yeah.
where you branch into 2 by asking questions. Is the petals odd numbered or even numbered? If it's odd numbered, is it 5 petals or 3 petals or 7 petals? You know, like these kind of things.
Yeah.
And using those questions, you narrow it down to a specific species.
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, you don't have to build an LLM, a whole giant thing that's, be computationally intensive to play with machine learning. Like, there are smaller models, like, for instance, like a classification model, which, you could use like a regression model or a random forest model. There's so many different ones that aren't extremely computationally intensive, and you can go and download free data sets and just play around and do your own experiments and research with it.
Yep, exactly. And right now, I'm actually doing a side project that I hope anyone would reach out. It's a hobby project.
Yeah.
No hard deadlines. It's not like we hope that in the future it gets funded. But basically, there are numerous amounts of language preservation efforts out there. For example, like Ethnologue by SIL International or Blue Shield International. They are trying to preserve languages that are going extinct because there are almost 7,000 languages in the world, but 96% of the world only speak 4% of the languages that exist. So if you play with the numbers, that essentially what it means is there are over 3,000 languages that only 10,000 people speak. So it's dying rapidly. Many cultures, some cultures with writing systems, without writing systems, some with letters, some without letters. There's so much diversity, culture, heritage, and history is going to be lost. So what I'm planning to do is I'm trying to start up a project that uses open source language models to learn and preserve languages around the world.
That's a good idea.
So that's what I'm planning to do. So if anyone's interested, please reach out. I'm planning to collaborate with other universities around the world as well, because obviously they will have better access to languages in that region. So we're trying to save the languages. Hopefully save culture and history.
And that's what's a weird thing too about AI training is like, for instance, like books. Like if you want to train something on a bunch of language, but you want it to be based off of like literature, right? Not a lot of books are actually free to download. Like apparently Meta got in trouble for this.
Yeah, because they download some of the books that are copyrighted.
Yeah, exactly. And use that to train. And so another thought I had was like, well, So we've heard of like AIs coming up with their own language or whatever. And so I'm wondering if you trained a model on like a bunch of different languages, right? If it could come up with a new language, that would be interesting. I mean, I would think it would be.
I mean, it probably could because, like I said, the project I'm doing is multimodal. So I'm trying to because some languages are only purely written. Some languages are purely only spoken. They don't have a written form. Or some languages have their own orthography, their own script.
Yeah.
So what I'm planning to do is I'm trying to create a multimodal model that can learn and capture the nuances of these cultures and their languages. Hopefully, as many languages as possible without losing its essence. And then use that way to preserve it. So, and when whoever wants to learn it can teach it. Now, imagine you use this model once it let's assume it captured, let's say 4,000 languages already. And then you connect it to a diffusion model and try to tell it to create a new language. I think it'll be a next level conlanging, if you know what's conlanging.
Conlanging, no, what the
So conlanging is a hobby that a lot of people actually do for either world building or just linguistic hobbyists. And basically, conlanging is constructing languages. Some people do it for academic research.
That's like puzzle makers.
Yes, or like role play, or like game world building, writing.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they have their own languages. So conlang is a very big community, and there are people actually construct languages for academia's sake.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
I'm thinking if you are able to collect a lot of languages to one large language model, assuming you capture a lot of diverse languages, even fictional languages, right? You can create a language model for conlanging.
Okay, so yeah, so world building to give depth and authenticity to fictional worlds in books, movies, and games. I mean, there's a lot like have you read Clockwork Orange?
No.
So it's mostly English, right? That we can understand, right? Or else I wouldn't have read it. But there is like a different vernacular in there,
Yes,
and different. It feels like a sort of a different language.
Yeah, if for a lot of people who watch anime or fantasy stories or whatever, they would know that there are a lot of the animators will animate totally different languages that they are not real words, but it's pretty cool. It makes it more immersive.
Yeah.
But my main interest is, of course, to preserve languages, but also to study language because linguistic to me is very interesting. And also the Sapir-Whorf effect, if you didn't know, basically...
The what?
Sapir-Whorf effect, or Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
Sapir-Whorf?
Whorf.
Sapir-Whorf.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
Is it like Zap-your-worth?
Sapir. I might be butchering the pronunciation, but
Sapir-Whorf? Uh-huh. Sapir-Whorf?
No. Is this Sapir-Whorf?
Sapir-Whorf. Okay, yeah, it came up.
So that's what I was talking about. And basically it says that
Berkeley.
what if thought, the same way thought construct a language, what if language also...
Linguistic relativity.
Yes.
Okay.
So just like how thinking can change the way you talk, right? Your state of mind and whatnot. What if language can do the same? So what they found is, the interesting stuff is, there is a language in the world. I forgot which part of the world or which community it belongs to. There's something called world-centric and egocentric directions. So whenever we say left or right of something, we say your left, my right, relative to the subject. But there is a language in the world where they are relative to north, south, east, and west. So whenever they talk about language, it's absolute. The direction is absolute. Right now, if I tell you to point in north, can you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's assume you're in somewhere random and then I tell you to point in north. It's probably not... It's not easy for most people to do it. Like,
I always know where I'm at.
that's good, that's good. Because for most people who can't, but they found that people who use this language naturally can. They can be in any situation, they're like a natural compass. They can be like, oh, north right there. In a random bathroom, they can be like, oh, north right there, for example. Like, so another one is they found that some languages can distinguish color better. Because they have more words for those languages. But even though English, we have a lot of names for blue. But if you tell someone to distinguish blue, you can't. But for some languages, they can.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time. But like the Arabic language, like apparently has like one of the most descriptive words as a language.
Oh, that one is yeah. That topic gets a bit more complex and in depth. I guess we will get into that next time because even I'm not that well read into that yet. I saw the article. I haven't read it yet. But basically, what they found is the way they construct words is different from other languages, and they found evidence that this language literally makes you process differently.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I'll dive deeper into that next time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
because
cool.
it's very complicated. It's very interesting, but very complicated.
I think we should wrap it up here. I think
it's perfect time to wrap it up. But yes, remember, if anyone who wants to work with Josh here on his material science LLM, just reach out.
Please,
and whoever
please,
wants
please.
to work on the language conservation and the conlanging whatever ideas, reach out to us. And the language preservation one, do reach out to me.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and either through Discord or Instagram, because I really think this is an important effort, and I think by the end of our lives, more than half of the languages in the world will go extinct.
Yeah, and that's a part of like
So much
keeping
history,
culture alive.
so much history, culture, and heritage is gone.
Yes.
So many perspectives. Each language is an entirely different perspective of the
I love
world.
that. I love
And we'll lose that. And I don't want that to happen. So let's try that out. And whoever's interested in language, large language models, or whatever, as long as you're interested to be part of this project, just reach out to me. That'll be great.
Yep. And so we are looking to try to curate a list of all the research going on around the university
On campus, yes.
so that we can put it out there, and and so that we can maybe have a contact for you to have that, like, so for instance, if you're interested in chemistry, well, we would like to have and connect you with who's ever doing research in chemistry, and because there's a lot of research that's happening at UCO, and we firmly believe that research is something that we should get involved in, even if it's just for a semester or whatever. I think it can open your mind, open your world up to new things. And yeah, of course I'm biased. I love doing the research that I do. If you're interested in material science research, definitely let us know. I do material science research under TEJ, sort of applying machine learning to material science. So if that's something that interests you, we're always looking for people to help out. And if you want to just help out with a pod, help out with Physics Society in some way, we're always trying to grow. We're always trying to learn. We're always trying to do new, cool things. And if there's something, if there's a hobby you have or a hobby you want to get into that you think could help benefit Physics Society, just reach out. And we're totally down to brainstorm with you and figuring out how we can make that a thing. But yeah. So yeah, I think it was. I had fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Cool.
It's time to wrap it up.
All right. Well,
Until
until next time.
All right.